Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and if you're just joining us across YouTube, Rumble, and X, you've picked one hell of a night to tune in. We're exactly 35 days away from Donald Trump's historic return to the White House, and the deep state is in full panic mode. Tonight's show is going to blow the lid off 5 explosive stories the mainstream media will not touch. But first, while you're watching right now, I do need you to do something crucial. Share this live stream. Text it to every patriot you know. The algorithms are trying to bury us, but they can't stop direct person-to-person sharing. So get the truth out while you still can. And for those watching on YouTube, we're streaming to millions worldwide right now. And yes, we're going to be featuring your reactions throughout the show. Your super chats and your Rumble rants will be displayed right here on screen between segments. If you want your voice heard by millions, this is your chance. And speaking of chances, we've launched our channel memberships with 3 exclusive tiers: Operative, Commander, and Sentinel levels. Join now. Unlock special badges. Custom emojis are now available. We just uploaded them. I saw some of you guys playing with that. Oh, look at those. Oh, man, you guys have already got them. And you'll get direct access to the next news team. The link is right below the video. Now, let's get to what's happening right now. Mysterious drones are scanning our skies for radiation, and Trump just confirmed the government's massive cover-up. We've got exclusive intel from top sources about what they're really hunting for. Now, in Canada, our friends in the Great White North, Trudeau's government is literally imploding in real time. Yeah. His top officials resigning hours before crucial budget revelations and Trump's masterstroke with tariffs have them talking. Yeah, they are terrified about becoming the 51st state. Meanwhile, Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, he's just declared war on sanctuary cities, threatening to arrest any mayor who obstructs deportations. The gloves are coming off, my friends. But that's not all. A White House insider was just caught on camera admitting what we have all suspected about Biden's cognitive decline. That's right. James O'Keefe has struck yet again. The deep state's puppet is falling apart, and they can't hide it anymore. And finally, Trump's master plan is taking shape. JFK Jr.'s confirmation meetings for HHS secretary, they're sending big pharma into panic mode while the DOGE task force prepares to demolish the regulatory state. Now, I need to be clear about something. This show only exists because of viewers like you. And if you value independent journalism, hit that super chat button, send in your Rumble rants, because we'll be featuring in between segments. And of course, you can support us by clicking on the donation link below. And don't forget to check out our new merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our limited edition MAGA Avengers gear is flying off the shelves. Show the world where you get your real news. So, Patriots, this is not a normal news day. These stories are all connected, and by the end of this broadcast, you'll understand exactly how. So stay with us. The comments, super chats, keep them coming, and get ready for the truth they don't want you to hear. So let's dive in and welcome you to the show. Deanna, what's up? Good to see you here. And Viv B and Rascal77, Sum of All Fears movie, 24 seconds ago. That was sent in by Bullish Economy. We've got Stone Hill Lady. What's up, Stonehill? We got Kigger Carl ZB Ready. They got satellites for that, he says. And Mike Taylor News, the drones are annoying. Gen X, fight, fight, fight. That's what we do here. Sure, you in the house, watch out, man. He's got that wrench of truth. And we got, what does this button do? I don't want to know. We got Tall Walls here. We got David. We got Magma Viking. And we've got Deanna and Carrie. We got Mike and Mac Knight. Mac Knight is here. Kev Chat 010. Who else we got? Who's in the house? Angel Lawrence dropping in the super chat at the $10 level. Yes, we do have a goal tonight. Thank you. We have a goal set up tonight. First time we've ever done such a thing. And click that button and find out what will happen if we hit our goal. I think I saw we got some new members here. We got Kaya Storm is here. Hey, Kaya, what's up? Hothead Kenny. Pothead Kenny, we've been waiting for you. And yes, I got your message. And I think you will like what is about to hit your mailbox. All right? I think you'll like it. All right. Who else is in the house tonight? Let's go back to our show all tab and find out everybody who's here. Sorry about that little problem we had earlier. Not sure exactly what that was all about. The clapping. We got Carrie Parks in here. We got Deborah. What's up, Deborah? We got Troy Millhouse in Ohio. Mike in Arizona. Nebraska is reporting for duty. Mike is in the house, or Craig is in the house. And Mike from Arizona. We got Fat Couple from Vietnam. What's up, Vietnam? And we love you a long time. And Eric is here in Arizona. We got Montana in the house. Dean Martin, Corey S. One more time, Biden shows how feckless he is. Yeah, we got it all. Carrie, thank you for your service. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, Tiny Tim here. Illinois in the house. I just saw in Illinois. We got Missouri, Carrie Parks. Canada is here. Thomas, Save My Republic has tuned in. Dave from Ohio. And Guinevere just dropped $3. Thank you for the Shiba dog and the greeting someone. How's it going? We're doing well. Who else is in the house here? Oh my goodness, I can't even keep up. San Diego's here. Gregory Hughes is here. I'm new to this channel, but I'm subscribing to listen to more. Thanks for the news, and Merry Christmas to you. Welcome, our new subscriber. We got a new subscriber here. Yeah, not just a member, but a subscriber. If you're not subscribed yet, welcome him, and subscribe to the channel. We got Lisa in the Florida. Brian's he's got the clap on lock right now. We got Dr. P in Moline. Who else is in the house? We got Jessica in Oklahoma. Back the blue until it's you. Eastern Kentucky. Cue Ball in the house. And Crystal and Dwayne and Professor Jenkin Alder Collins in Japan. What's up, Professor? Thank you for joining us. Always nice to have a scholar among us. I love you guys. Okay, we got news to get to, and I don't want to keep everybody waiting. I know we could sit here and we could have fun in the chat all day, but we do have some serious stuff to get into because these drones have people freaking out, and we got a lot of response we need to get into. So let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you should terrify every American. Mysterious drones are scanning our skies for radiation, and President Trump just confirmed what our sources have been saying. The military knows, the president knows, but they won't tell the people. Why? Because nuclear material has gone missing. The Office of Global Access, a shadowy three-letter agency, has deployed advanced surveillance drones across multiple states hunting for what could be a dirty bomb. Meanwhile, radiation levels are spiking, and Biden's HHS just spent $300 million on anti-radiation medication. Isn't that nice? The question isn't if they're lying to us, it's why. And Patriots, when the government starts hunting for dirty bombs while stockpiling radiation medication, smart money moves to real security. That's why central banks worldwide are swapping paper dollars for physical gold. Your retirement funds are sitting in digital accounts backed by nothing but government promises. The same government that's hiding the truth about these drones. Call Global Gold Investments. That's the number on the screen at 888-700-4148. Get your free 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Mention Next News for a complimentary portfolio analysis. Don't wait until the radiation detectors start screaming. Secure your family's future with real money, physical gold, and guess what? You might just get a special gift if you mention Gary Franchi. That's right, $1,000 in free silver. Okay, so what have we got here? Liz Wheeler reporting, this is why people worry a nuke is on the loose, because our government is gaslighting us. Nothing to see here. Just have Congress give us more power. Yes, the DHS, FBI, FAA, and DOD issued a joint statement on ongoing response to reported drone sightings. There are more than 1 million drones lawfully registered with the FAA in the United States, and there are thousands of commercial, hobbyist, and law enforcement drones lawfully in the sky on any given day. With the technology landscape evolving, we expect that number to increase over time. Oh, thanks, guys. We appreciate that. FBI has received tips of more than 5,000 reported drone sightings in the last few weeks, with approximately 100 leads generated. And the federal government is supporting state and local officials in investigating these reports. Consistent with each of our unique missions and authorities, we are quickly working to prioritize and follow these leads. We have sent advanced detection technology to the region, and we have trained visual observers. Oh, did you see that last line there? We have sent advanced detection technology to the region. Isn't that what we've been saying? You see how they hide it right there in their official statement? We have sent advanced detection technology to the region. Right there. That's their joint statement. We've got this too, breaking. Hill Air Force Base confirms sightings of unmanned aerial systems or drones in area around the base. Sean Farash, if you don't know who he is, he does one of the greatest Donald Trump impressions ever. He calls it Drone Gate, and it highlights an even larger issue at play, which is trust. Yes, trust has been eroded in the public because we don't trust what the government tells us anymore. He says, say the government came out immediately and said the drone sightings were prototypes being tested for future military use. Would anyone actually believe them? Our government has lied to us so many times that many people have completely lost faith in their word. Because of this, we wind up in a situation where we abandon the most logical explanation due to the idea that there would be no reason to cover up, avoid addressing something easily explainable. This is actually a very dangerous position we find ourselves in, and it leaves us incredibly vulnerable to manipulation. Very astute observation. And then we have this, Chuck Schumer. Right on schedule, folks. Right on schedule. 4 hours ago, he posted, Chuck Schumer, yes, the esteemed senator, this week, amid the drone sightings, I will move for the Senate to pass legislation giving local officials the tools and authorities necessary to act quickly and in lockstep with government agencies. Wow. So let's kind of put these pieces of the puzzle together here. So sources indicate that we have nuclear missile or nuclear material on the loose. Drones are out hunting for it. People freak out. People make phone calls. And the solution is more legislation to grant the government more power. Problem, reaction, solution. UAP James just in. White House issues a statement on the drone sightings. We have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace. Let's see what News Nation had to say.
I want to tell you what Kirby told us moments ago. And he said, quote, the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and even stars that were mistakenly reported as drones. He goes on to say we have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey and or in other states in the Northeast.
Well, why would they pose a public safety risk if they're ours, right? Yeah, see, that's the piece of the puzzle they're not revealing to us. Nick Sortor, 3 hours ago, Biden advisor John Kirby says the White House knows whose drones are flying over New Jersey. Our assessment is these are legal and lawful, especially if they're operated by the CIA. Let's take a look and listen to what he had to say.
White House National Security Communications Advisor, retired Admiral John Kirby. John, thanks for being here. Okay. You hear all of these officials. You've heard a lot of concern, a lot of coverage. Where are you tonight on this?
As we look at the information we've got, Brett, and we've now examined some 5,000 different sightings, we've added detection capabilities, additional observers. As you and I stand here today, to date, our assessment is that this is lawful, legal, commercial, hobbyist and even law enforcement aircraft activity. Some of it's manned, some of it's unmanned. We absolutely acknowledge that a lot of these are probably drones, but they're flying legally, and it is legal to fly drones in non-restricted airspace as long as you're registered with the FAA. And there's thousands and thousands of these kinds of flights every single day. I think there's more than 1 million drones that are registered with the FAA just in the United States alone.
But this is different, it seems. These are bigger. They're 6 feet in diameter, a lot of them. There was a reporter the other day that saw 50 coming from the coast at one, pack. I know when you first came out, you said that most of these are manned. Can you concede that maybe most of these are not manned?
Well, I said was at the time, and this was Thursday, when we were not as informed as we are today based on the resources we have applied to the problem set. I said many of the reported sightings we believe to be manned aircraft. That was true when we said it on Thursday. We still believe, Brett, that some of these are, in fact, manned aircraft. I couldn't give you a breakdown of what percentage, but we do believe that still some of these sightings are, in fact.
Okay, but Kirby, what percentage are CIA drones? Can you tell us that at least?
Manned aircraft. We also acknowledge that a lot of them are unmanned aircraft. But again, our assessment to date, given all the work that we've done, the FBI, state and local officials, that these are legal and lawful drones flying for the common good.
Okay, the Homeland Security Secretary said over the weekend that right now they don't have any foreign involvement, criminal activity. We don't see them as a national security concern. How can you get to that point? How can you get to that conclusion with what you're seeing?
Because we've done the analysis, we've done the detection and the analysis, we've corroborated the sightings, and in every case that we have examined to date, we have seen nothing that indicates a public safety risk. There are drones flying over the skies of the United States every single night, every single day, and we've seen nothing in and around New Jersey that should give the people on the ground there concerns for their safety for this activity. And we've seen nothing, working with the Department of Defense as well, that indicates a foreign adversary actor involved or any kind of pernicious national security threat. Now, there have been some drone sightings, I think, as you know, over some military bases. We're obviously looking at that. That is a different category, and DOD has different authorities to deal with that. But again, we've also seen no disruption of operations at our bases in New Jersey either from any of this.
Okay.
Didn't they just shut down an airport in New York? Come on. All right, let's see if he gets asked about that.
Here's the president-elect today.
They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
What's your answer to that?
Well, I think it goes back to the first question you asked me, Brett. I mean, we have made an assessment based on the work we've done thus far, and our assessment is that this is lawful and legal activity, whether it's manned or unmanned. Again, we see no indication of a national security or public.
I love it when he says lawful and legal, because if they're CIA drones hunting for dirty bombs, of course they'd be lawful and legal, right?
Okay, but there are so many of them, John. There are so many of them, John. If this was happening over Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, would you be a little bit more concerned? I mean, I guess the people of New Jersey wonder why it took so long to get to the point you are now. And if you see all of this, doesn't a local authority need the authority to be able to deal with it? Is it something Congress has to pass? Because they want to say, I don't want a 6-foot wide diameter refrigerator flying over my house and falling on my roof.
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it, Brett, because we absolutely do want to see congressional action. The Biden administration proposed legislation for counter-UAS authorities, additional authorities, to close some of the gaps and seams that you're talking about, not only between our own agencies here in the federal government, but the gaps that exist between us and state and local authorities. We absolutely want to see that legislation, and President Biden's calling for a bipartisan task force on Capitol Hill to do exactly that, to try to drive some legislative remedies. I think everybody... And
legislative remedies, a bipartisan task force. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and Congress is going to give you more laws.
We all understand this, Brett. I mean, we're in a new ecosystem in terms of unmanned aircraft in this country. Again, all legal and lawful and doing the right thing for the public good, but it's a brand new ecosystem. There are more systems flying, more purposes over more cities than ever before, and the authorities and the gaps and seams that those authorities don't give us have not kept up with that ecosystem, and so we want to see that driving forward.
All right, last thing. You don't see any linkage between the number of, that this is all tied together in one thing. You think these are all different elements and different kinds of drones, not with one company, not with the military, not with the DOE, Department of Energy. You don't say that they're looking for some nuclear material. You say these are all different flying objects, some of them manned, some not.
Our assessment to date is that, Brett, that this is a collection of law enforcement, hobbyists, commercial drones, and of course civil aviation aircraft that have caused all these sightings. And it's not attributable to an actor for a purpose. And again, I want to stress to your viewers, we don't see anything that indicates a national security or a public safety threat. The last thing I'll say, Brett, and I appreciate the time you're giving me, is this is an ongoing investigation. We're still working our way through this. Sightings continue to come in. We've taken them all seriously, and we'll continue to look at this. And if we learn more, if we know more, certainly if we find something that's contradictory to what we believe today, I'll be right up here on your show talking about it.
And we will have you on right away. John, we appreciate the time.
He didn't answer the question. Brett Baer asked him, are they looking for radiological material? Are they or not? Oh, they're lawful and legal. Law enforcement, right? I posted this a day ago. Gang of 8 member Representative Jim Himes suggests the latest drone flap is likely the result of teenagers. Teenagers with Walmart drones. Yeah, that's the prevailing theory from the Gang of 8.
Put a bunch of, hopefully with truth. Now, let me say something that I know with confidence. It is not the Iranians. It is not the Chinese. They aren't Martians. I know that's very unsatisfying for people who want a Hollywood movie out of this. But
how can you say that, though?
Look, in the absence of good information, I can say that because I spent all my time as the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee watching what the Iranians and the Chinese do. And you know what they don't do is put a bunch of drones that we could easily recover over the continental United States. The Chinese learned that lesson, of course, with their spy balloon. And you're right. I can't say it with 100% probability.
Oh, really? We let that spy balloon fly over our entire country, collecting data the entire time. And then you shot it down. Yeah, you learned a lot there, buddy.
To Nicole's point, it's just the military is amazing at what they do. An aircraft carrier has 6,000 amazing people on it who will defeat the Iranians. What they're not very good at doing is identifying if there's 12 teenage boys in Montclair, New Jersey, flying Walmart drones. The military is not very good at identifying that and dealing with that. So hopefully with truth.
They're not that good at dealing with that. So maybe we should enact legislation to stop the Walmart kids. Breaking news. Our government is using fear to pass the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018, which expires on December 20th of this year. Wyatt, 11 hours ago, the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018 expires on December 20th, so the federal government is literally using terrorism drone mystery PSYOP against you to manipulate Congress into passing the new H.R. 8610, Counter UAS Authority, Security, and Safety. Yeah. What do you know? And then there was this. Then there was this post. I posted this 3 hours ago. And it really caught my attention. And I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna read this out to you. If you want to read the full post, and I got roasted. I got roasted a little bit on X for posting this. Okay? You can read the whole thing. This is the whole thing. A lot of small print. But the picture's there. The link to the original post is there. People are like, oh, you can't just post this without the link. Well, there it is. Trump confirms drone secrecy as top secret source links to false flag warning. Following Trump's remarks about mysterious drones flying over New Jersey and near Bedminster, disturbing intel has resurfaced, pointing to a new kind of false flag operation. Now, this post is from May of 2022. The chilling post predicted a campaign centered on radiological threats, not nuclear detonations, but the deliberate dispersal of radioactive materials, the goal to create mass panic, restrict freedoms, and expand government surveillance under the guise of safety. And what are we seeing right now? Well, we're seeing drones up in the air, and we are seeing legislation, calls for new legislation. Congress needs to act, which is falling directly in line with this May 22 post. According to the intel, the aftermath of such an event would involve images of burn victims, overcrowded triage centers, contact tracing app tied to radiation exposure, mandatory for device connectivity, legislation banning encryption, giving the government unprecedented access to metadata and location tracking. Now, of course, there has not been, and thank God there hasn't been, any type of full-scale radiological dirty bomb detonation. But according to the source, that's what they believe is about to happen. Now, our source claim, if you watched this on Saturday, you'd know that these drones may be searching for gamma rays, exactly what this false flag scenario described. The operation could be a pretext for rolling out draconian measures, mirroring the tactics used during that beautiful moment a few years ago. Trump alluded to strange government secrecy, saying the military knows, the president knows, but they won't tell the people. The question asked is, are we witnessing the groundwork for a psychological operation designed to control the narrative and tighten restrictions? We've already seen media manipulations with disinformation campaigns flooding independent platforms. If this scenario is true, these drones aren't just about surveillance, they're about setting the stage for something much darker. Again, go to my X. You can see this post in full. Now, we have some more information here for you. Glenn Beck, I thought this was really interesting. Okay? Now, this is actually a post from October 7th of 2022, asking the question. Now, this is resurfacing in light of this information, in light of these drones, in light of the dirty bomb hunting, sniffing drones. Glenn Beck asked the question, why did Biden's HHS just spend $300 million on anti-radiation poisoning medication that only has a shelf life of 18 months? Do they know something that we don't? Listen.
So what did we just spend $300 million on? Well, the drug that the HHS says it just purchased was called N-Plate, and it's made by a company named Amgen. I'm looking into the company now. I'm trying to see if there's any other way to explain this other than they know something that we don't know. Now, this drug is used to treat acute ARS. That's acute radiation syndrome. It's used to treat blood cell injuries from severe radiation poisoning. So if you don't take the thyroid blocker stuff, you end up with acute radiation blood poisoning, I guess. So here's what's interesting. Until this press release, there is no evidence of any kind that our research team could find that Health and Human Services have ever had anti-radiation poison medication just sitting around on hand. We don't carry a stockpile of this. Now, here's the other interesting thing. If you look at the MDSS, the Material Data Safety Sheet, and you look for this drug from Amgen, the storage half-life for N-Plate, which is in an IV bag, is required to be refrigerated at all times, and it only has a shelf life of 18 months. Why did we just spend $300 million on something we've never purchased before? It is for serious radiation poisoning. It has to be refrigerated at all times. And it only has a shelf life of 18 months.
Great question, Glenn. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate that. And then we have this. One day ago, there is credible intel that supports the claim that the U.S. government is using drones to search for trace radiation of missing germanium-68. Reported by Richard Peros to John Liliendahl, Senior Emergency Response Coordinator, NRC. And we have this.
2000, Patterson Tower, med flight 1900 feet, about 7 miles southwest of the field, like transition your Delta northeastbound.
Med Flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation. Suggest at or above 1700 AGL.
That we will maintain 2000 and on our transition for Med Flight 8.
And I gotta keep the lights down so that security forces can see.
Roger that, no problem.
Position approved, sir.
Approved, Med Flight 8.
Now, for clarification, this was posted by Raw's Alerts. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base shuts down due to unauthorized drone activity. And this is the radio communication.
Med Flight 8 Tower.
Ahead for Med Flight 8.
Hey, sir, you're still approved through our Class Delta. After you leave, Columbus is going to sterilize the Class Delta as of 0330 Zulu. Patterson Class Delta is closed after your transition.
I'm sorry about that. You got stepped on by other traffic. Can you say again?
Yes, sir. Your transition is still approved. However, Patterson Class Delta is sterilized as of 0330 Zulu for heavy unknown UAS activity. Security forces is handling it, and Columbus is going to sterilize the airspace after you leave the Delta.
Roger that. No problem. Thank you.
All aircraft use extreme caution. Patterson Class Delta is now closed for heavy UAS activity.
Closing the airspace. Emergency class, non-emergency. Agreement state report, source lost in transit. Following information was provided by New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection via email. The license reported to NJDEP on December 3rd is at a GE68 pin source that they sent for disposal but lost in transit on December 2nd. The source is Eckert & Ziegler, model HEGL0132. Current approximate activity of 0.267 MCL. The shipping container arrived at its destination damaged and empty. The licensee has filed a claim with the shipper. If the source has not been located within 30 days, licensee will follow up with a full written report to include root causes and corrective actions. Yeah. Sources are very unlikely to cause permanent injury to individuals or contain very small amount of radioactive material that would not cause permanent injury. And here is, okay, now a lot of people are posting these maps. These are radiological maps. Apparently there's an app for that. And you can download the app and you can actually see current radiation levels in your area. We got more maps for that. But then we have this. Benny Johnson had a guy on today. I think you need to hear him. Retired U.S. Navy intel officer says New Jersey drones may be used to detect radiation from a missing nuclear weapon. Isn't that nice? Let's listen.
Some type of horrible act trying to cover their ass and find something before it starts. That seems to me to be the most logical explanation for what's going on.
It could be. Benny, I worked at the National FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, and we did a lot of intelligence gathering regarding the border. And our fear was that someone would walk in with a dirty bomb or someone would walk in with a powerful weapon.
Wow.
And at least when I was there was no evidence that was happening, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Okay.
Wow.
That all these years, maybe, you have cells being created all over the place. Now, only the FBI and the CIA, et cetera, know that right now. But saying that, we need to be vigilant. You see something, say something. Very important at this time in our history. And secondly, our government needed to take action a long time ago to shut that border down. We see it's going to happen soon. But believe me when I tell you that when it comes to the national security of the United States, we're going to see some very significant changes for the good down the road. Unfortunately, it got to this point, but you know who rose to the occasion? The American people. The American people rose to the occasion and said, enough's enough. America has to defend itself against all threats, foreign and domestic. And that's coming real soon. So there's our...
Foreign and domestic. Wonder who those domestic threats are. Okay, so here are some of those maps. Incredibly high radiation levels in America at the moment, and the government apparently keeping it hidden. But I guess you have an app. You can go ahead and download it. Here's San Antonio. Those red dots indicate high radiation levels. And then here is Chicago. How lovely. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what these numbers mean, but I think red means bad. And that's, thankfully, that's not very close to me. And then we have New York. Look at that number. That's just kind of a scary number. That's a really big number, so that means it's really bad, right? And then we have Newark, Mountain View, big numbers over there, over Palo Alto, 2,520. And here's another one. Edward Baker decided to download the real-time radiation map. What am I looking at here in New Jersey? Okay, so we got some red dots here as well, 4,021. And we got a smaller one here, 78. Yeah, people are downloading these apps. This was kind of bizarre. I did not expect Bethany Frankel, of all people, to be weighing in on this, but here we are. She says we have to be having this discussion. We can't be the village idiots. It's an inauguration year. The world's been at war, and radiation is spiking in areas coinciding with the concentration of drones. Wow, Bethany Frankel. Shall we? Okay, let's hear what she has to say.
And that you're going to think I'm nuts, but why should today be any different than any other day? I know this guy whose father worked with the Pentagon and NASA and like secret projects, and he has been messaging me that he will never forgive himself if he doesn't tell the people that he knows that for a month he's been watching.
I mean, I hate to interrupt, but I'm getting Ferris Bueller vibes off of this. You know, my brother's best friend's girlfriend saw Ferris Bueller pass out at 31 Flavors last night, so I guess it's pretty serious. I don't mean to make light of it, but that was my immediate reaction. Sorry.
Messaging me that he will never forgive himself if he doesn't tell the people that he knows that for a month he's been watching this situation. And now, several days ago, before it became a discussion in the mainstream media, that these drones are ours and that they could very possibly be sniffing out something very dangerous, some missing dangerous W from the war, and that areas that coincide with where the drones have been seen have spiked in radiation. So he said it's time to think about where I am and that I might want to go somewhere with my daughter. So like for me, you know, we blow things off and we think nothing's going to happen, but things do happen. I remember sitting in my car with my driver who said to me months before I even knew what the words global pandemic meant, I think there's going to be a global pandemic. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, if he had bet the markets, he would have been a billionaire. So I'm just listening to this guy and watching. And now Trump, who's hanging out with a lot of billionaires who have a lot of money for research, is also finding out that these are ours. And what were the government's choices? A, tell us that that's what they're doing and widespread panic and pandemonium, or B, do what they're doing. But something is wrong because otherwise they would eliminate them, and everyone's being very cagey. So what do you think? This guy has also been talking to different people in government positions who agree and are watching now.
Wow, Bethany Frankel. I did not expect her to weigh in on this, but apparently she's got some friends. Synchronous, the drones are not detecting radiation, he says, but they're spreading lethal radiation. Okay, that's not something I've heard yet, but that is what this person is posing 13 hours ago. Of course, he brings up the Glenn Beck segment talking about the anti-radiation potassium iodide pills that were purchased by the government. Facts Prime, U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission confirms radioactive material lost in transit. Fears grow over public safety as investigation unfolds. Mysterious drone activity in New Jersey. Authorities scramble to locate missing material. And then there is this. Did you guys see this today? An independent player, BlackRock, suddenly shows up. The Amegy reference doesn't make sense. They're an energy firm, not a drone manufacturer, and found a drone that was missing for an entire month. Oh, we've got the video from it too. Yes, look, you can kind of see it. We have the video. We're going to show it to you in just a moment here. But if you want to get answers from the Biden administration this is what you're going to get. Nothing to see here at all. BlackRock drone found in New York City. The New York Police Department recovered a massive drone in Brooklyn's, where'd it go? There it is. In Brooklyn's Navy Yard, measuring over 5 feet in diameter. This comes as thousands of unidentified drone sightings flood the East Coast. Look at this thing.
Yes. You look so small. That's bigger than you. That's what I'm saying.
Yo, can you interview James for me, man? Ask him what happened.
So, did you get contact with the culprit, aka Islam?
Yo, James, how you miss that, bro?
How'd you miss that? It's fucking huge. Alright, keep going. So, we sent you to protect this drone, and you happen to just run it over. How do you? Yeah. Okay. What was your game plan going into that?
A massive drone discovered. Now, this person, which is really interesting. Okay, so this image has been floating around. Current event notification report for December 13th. U.S. NRC, and this is the National Nuclear Regulatory Commission. NJ Rad Prot and whatever. This is okay. So this is MJ Truth Ultra posting this. Everyone's sharing the first graphic stating that nuclear material has gone missing as the reason drones are flying around. Yes, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission reported radioactive material lost in New Jersey. What was lost was a GE68 pin for an Eckert and Ziegler model HEGL 0132, which I mentioned earlier, lost during shipping for disposal. It's used to calibrate PET scanner systems, used as a transmission standard to provide a tissue density correction to permit accurate diagnostic scanning of patients. Now, it doesn't have enough radioactive material to cause damage. And this is what it looks like. This is what was lost. So there's a lot of people freaking out over this specific piece of radioactive material that was lost, but not to get confused with what else could be out there. Let's see. We have, here is President Trump. This was earlier today. Now you saw the Fox clip. That was only a portion of it. Now, I'm going to play this for you. At today's press conference, President Trump directly addresses the mysterious drones, including those already seen over Bedminster, his New Jersey property. Trump didn't sound alarmed, but confirmed what many suspect, that the government knows what exactly is going on. He dismissed the ideas that drones could belong to a foreign enemy. If it was the enemy, they blast them out of the sky. Okay, let's watch this here.
What about the fear here at home of the drones?
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where.
Okay, I'm pausing it right there. Why would he say garage? Why would he say that? If it's a garage, they would go into the garage. Now, our sources, the other day on Saturday, when we went live, we did the emergency broadcast, stated that the radiological material, the dirty bomb material, these drones sniffing for gamma rays from a dirty bomb, could be in a vehicle. Huh. And the government knows. President Trump says that they know.
Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster,
Well,
want to know the
truth.
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been?
I don't want to comment on that. Have you received an intelligence briefing? I can neither confirm nor deny. Right?
If they're a threat.
What about the fear?
So President Trump clearly has some inside information, dismissing they could belong to a foreign enemy. If it was the enemy, they'd blast them out of the sky. Something strange is going on. He mentioned staying cautious, even canceling his weekend at Bedminster. He declined to confirm if he'd received intelligence briefing. So here's what we know. Trump's comments align with exclusive intel we received from a trusted high-level source. The source revealed these drones are U.S. surveillance craft deployed by the Office of Global Access to track gamma rays linked to potential WMDs. The OGA, a secretive three-letter agency that is within the Central Intelligence Agency, is reportedly conducting a massive operation on both coasts, hunting for a stray nuke or mass casualty weapon hidden in a container or vehicle. He said garage. Vehicle. Trump's remarks confirm what many suspected the government knows and is choosing to stay quiet. And it's not another drone story. This is about classified technology, potential WMDs, and a government scrambling to contain a threat while keeping the public in the dark. That's what we know. And this is interesting. Okay, this was published just 24 hours ago. A New Jersey drone pilot says his drone suddenly lost power as he tried to approach one of the mystery drones. Now, this guy is flying his drone up there. Now, what would cause that? Now, if this is a CIA drone that is sniffing nuclear material, I would believe they would have countermeasures in place to keep other aircraft or other drones away from it, right? They detect a perimeter breach around the drone's airspace, and they, initiate something to jam it and shut it down. So let's listen. This is from MSNBC, of all places.
To connect to the drone.
We have more video that you sent us of you, in fact, trying to launch a drone, and it was right near an airport. So tell us what happened there and why it's so noteworthy.
Okay, so we got reports last night that there was a lot of drone activity in the East Hanover area, which backs up to Morristown Airport and all that vicinity. So we head out there. We set up in a parking lot about a quarter mile away from the airport, and I'm trying to get flight clearance to take the drone up and see what this other drone is, and I cannot. Restricted. I tried to bypass it. At one point, it even asked for my phone number, and I said, no, I think we're good at this point.
Okay, now hang on. When you say looking for flight clearance, how does that work? I mean, are you literally talking with a control tower, or what are you doing?
So there's an app that you use to connect to the drone. When it's time, when you want to fly, you press a button, and what it does is it looks for flight clearance or restrictions. And what happened was there was a restriction in that area, and I couldn't get up, but there were drones in the air that weren't following the restriction. Now, we verify everything above us with flight radar, so we can tell if it's an airplane or if it's not. None of the things that we go after are on flight radar.
Okay, so what we're looking at, this device notwithstanding, this control for your drone, if drones are getting into areas without clearance by the FAA, is it possible they figured out some kind of a technology to keep their drones from being jammed and or losing power?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if you're aware, last week or so, 2 weeks when this started, I tried to take my drone over Picatinny Arsenal to follow a drone that was just hovering over there. And as I got closer, my drone lost power, spun out, and the battery died, and it went down. But the other drone remained sitting in the air unaffected.
Why? What do you think?
Secrets that the government don't want us to know, and they're playing stupid. Either that or aliens.
Oh, come on. Not the latter. Okay, you're smiling. All right, I'm glad. All right, we have more video.
MSNBC even reporting on this. And I think we got a clip from Alex. Let's see what Alex is saying about this. This was 9 hours ago. Trump releases bombshell statement concerning UAP UFO hysteria. President Trump officially solves the UAV mystery and says the U.S. military and Biden know exactly what's going on, attempting to create fear and hysteria.
Trump just came out an hour ago. We're about to play his statement with an extremely important response to the drone hysteria taking place across the United States right now. And he basically restated exactly what I've been saying. There is no mystery. The mystery is solved. These are drones. These are human-made. The Pentagon knows exactly where they're coming from, where they're going. They're showing particular interest in his Westminster golf course club, a state area where he was already planning to go in a few days. He says he's canceled his trip there. He says they're not a foreign adversary. And he says that the current President Biden has been read in and knows. And they say, well, have you been given a security briefing? He says, I won't comment on that. He's telling you what he's been told in the security briefing because he is the president-elect. This is exactly what I did, a 2-hour special report last night. Mystery of the UAV drone hysteria solved. And I laid out the legislation they're trying to pass right now that would ban all civilian use of drones, have a monopoly of big corporations and government over it. This is a big deal. This is a psyop ahead of Trump getting in 34 days. Trump understands that. This is a dead-on statement from Trump. From all the research and sources I have a lot of Pentagon sources, a lot of corporate sources in aeronautics, space and aeronautics. They confirm this is a giant psyop. And they may crash into a plane. They may attack somebody. They're also promoting that nukes are missing. I've warned they may detonate nukes ahead of Trump getting in and blame it on Russia or Iran. And then now that's happening. This is a giant psyop, just like COVID, just like all this different crap. So they got a lot of tracks trying to stop Trump and trying to change the agenda from Make America Great Again. The globalists are desperate. His cabinet is powerful. They know Trump's coming in to restore our republic and punish the wrongdoers so they can't do it again. And we're going to keep watching this whole UAP, UFO hysteria very, very closely with live reports here and at Real Alex Jones on X. So follow this and share this report. Here is the president's statement that I just broke down for you.
Okay. I mean, Alex is saying basically what I'm saying. I think we're in agreement here. Nothing to see here, says the Biden administration, right? But look at this. Look at the size of this drone that they found. Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper here because they're saying this is a BlackRock drone. That's what they're calling it. Massive drone in Brooklyn's Navy Yard measuring over 5 feet in diameter. This comes as thousands of unidentified drone sightings flood the East Coast. The drone belongs to Amogy Incorporated, a research company focused on ammonia-based energy solutions. And guess who invested heavily in Amogy? BlackRock. Now, that doesn't mean that BlackRock is actually controlling these drones. They are an investor in the company, but there is a connection there. The NYPD reportedly discovered the drone after a tip, and Amogy's CEO admitted it. It was left abandoned on a sidewalk after a company party. A 5-foot drone forgotten in New York City. Really? Is that the excuse you use when you lose a drone or you crash a drone? And it's an ammonia-based energy solution company, research company. Was it sniffing? This raises more questions than answers. Are these drones leftovers from parties or something bigger happening? Why are so many drones being spotted along the East Coast at the same time? What role does BlackRock play in all this? It's very suspicious. Linked to surveillance, testing. We need answers. The American people deserve to know the truth. This is not a game. No, it's not. What else have we got here? And we have this. This is actually kind of terrifying. This is a man named Joseph Spencer. Now, I'm not familiar with Joseph Spencer, but apparently he had a prediction in 2024 that would happen. A global event will alter the course of mankind's future. This is kind of spooky, but I think we should probably listen to it just for the context it provides.
The actual data have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed to enslavement and accelerated depopulation. With that said, the only hope for human salvation is to acquire and spread the knowledge of these activities and agendas. Resist, retaliate, then conquer this imposing enemy. The time is now, as humanity is rapidly approaching its final days.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of spooky, right? But it kind of lines up with some of the stuff we've been reporting here. Okay, so Disclosure Revolution posts this. Tom DeLonge posted this. The drones that are being discussed can hover for 6 hours and then disappear once they're spotted. This is why it's been hard to get facts from any U.S. agency. Some of them can even move into the ocean and then back up into the air, which is what some of these accounts have stated. They say this is a transmedium travel. It's a hard thing to do. If you look at this document, it seems like a repeat of exactly what happened in the 60s. A good chance these things could potentially be mimicking other aircraft. And this even happened more recently in situations at Skinwalker Ranch. My only knowledge of Skinwalker Ranch, I've never looked into it. I've seen like the History Channel. There's a show on it. They say Skinwalker Ranch, this happened years ago, being studied at, it was being studied the U.S. government under BAAS and AATIP, and again, also decades ago in the 60s. It's something to consider, and although we don't have all the facts yet, we do know that UFOs play with mimicry, and that's been known for quite some time. Well, I don't know. I mean, people want to scream UFO, but I don't think so. Going back to my post from 2 days ago, we have a source who has revealed that what these are in fact drones tracking gamma rays linked to possible WMDs in a massive counter-terror operation. The Office of Global Access has deployed advanced surveillance, and the mission objectives: detect communications tied to the device, partner with law enforcement for rapid response, prevent mass panic while advancing intel operations. The assets in play are low-altitude surveillance aircraft scanning for signals, special ops units ready for instant action, cyber intel teams analyzing terror networks. Now, they say here that this could involve a submarine breach of our warning nets or a WMD hidden in a cargo container or a vehicle, which then, again, lines up with why would Trump say a garage, hidden in a garage? For me, that's a direct connection. The stakes are high. The government's silence speaks volumes. They fear public panic. OGA's advanced intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance tactics include low and slow aerial monitoring actively in play. My source warns this intel is leaking now. Dirty bomb or worse could already be here, so stay alert. This is an active operation with civilian safety on the line. And the question is, why is this being kept from us, and what is really happening on our coasts? Well, day by day, more and more information continues to come out, and I'm glad President Trump finally made a remark. He doesn't believe they're enemies, yet he's concerned about them being around Bedminster, and it's very odd that Bedminster has a UAS-specific TFR around it that began in December 6th, and will expire on December 20th. The TFR exempts drones from being used in ops. If the TFR exempts the drones from being used in ops, that lines up with the sniffing operation. And if they're going over Bedminster and they're sniffing over Bedminster, are they looking for radiological material there? Right? Are you following me here? The other coincidence is the counter-UAS bill that expires on December 20th. This expanded bill is the Patriot Act on steroids. Wow. How lovely is that? Counter-UAS Authority Safety and Reauthorization Act, September 20th, 2024, committed to the Committee of the Whole House on State of the Union and ordered to be printed. To accompany H.R. 8610. The Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, to whom was referred in the bill, to reauthorize and reform counter-unmanned aircraft system authorities to improve transparency, safety, security, and accountability related to such authorities, and for other purposes, having considered the same, reports favorably therein with an amendment and recommends the bill as amended to pass. What do you know? And here is the Federal Aviation Administration's report on the UAS ops may be in authorization with the defined SSI airspace if in compliance with the listed entities below.
Have you been drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
They're over Bedminster. I wonder why. Let me get this straight. The government has been saying for over a week they have no idea about the drones, and this morning Donald Trump says the government is lying to the public, and all of a sudden the White House says all the drones are now being operated legally. Mystery U.S. drones all operating legally and lawfully. That's according to the White House. And then we have this Michael Schellenberger. I mean, this guy is on point with everything he does. Trump says White House knows what drones are, as White House, FBI, DHS insists nothing unusual is afoot. He just published this. Let's listen. This was 5 hours ago he published this. Where'd it go? Here it is.
It seems like the...
Hey everybody, it's Mike Schellenberger for Public. Since November 18th, the military, city mayors, and citizens alike have been reporting widespread drone flying over military bases in New Jersey and Ohio, and over homes in New Jersey and other states. This morning, President-elect Donald Trump was asked about the drones.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around?
Because if it was the enemy, I don't want to come.
But then, a few hours later, representatives from the FBI, the White House, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Federal Aviation Administration all said there was nothing unusual going on at all.
These sightings include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as other aircraft, helicopters, and other images, including lights that are mistakenly reported as drones.
The mayors responded angrily.
This has been going on since November 8th. The air traffic right here in the borough of Florham Park, where I am the mayor of, has never been as big as it is today. And pretty curious to me that on November 18th, the Morristown Airport Tower was not aware of the drones flying in our area.
Public obtained the entire conference call between the mayors, the White House, the FBI, DHS, and the FAA, which ran from around 3:30 p.m. East Coast today to just before 4:30.
You can say these are small aircraft. You can say these are manned. They're not. So I think if anyone was to take away from this that the drones aren't flying, they also must believe that the border is closed. I just don't want to hear any longer that we don't know where they're coming from, because you should know that.
One mayor said he had one drone over his house.
I'm from Edison, New Jersey, smack center of New Jersey, and right above my house I had two drones that were the size of vehicles. I understand that there's a lot of lawfully owned drones, but I just want to stress that it was above my house. I have a video of it. It's not, it's not a small drone, and it was real. It was probably 100, maybe a couple hundred feet above me. I've never seen a drone like that ever before. It was very large, again, the size of a vehicle. So, I just wanted to say, one, thank you for taking the time out and alleviating the concern of a foreign threat. or overseas. But my question is really, how many people have you deployed within New Jersey to also look at this? There's, understand that there's over 100 something, a couple hundred mayors that are all waving a flag saying this is a big deal. We're not trying to be hysterical here. We're not trying to cause panic, but it is, for officials up top to just say that these are legal and lawful and this is not, this is all normal. I think that's what the problem is, that this is certainly not normal. It's an abnormal amount of drones, and the sizes of them are just huge.
Please subscribe now to support Public's award-winning investigative journalism and to listen to and read the entire conference call between the White House, DHS, FBI, FAA, and the mayors of New Jersey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, especially with the short notice for this briefing. My name is Sophia Sokolowski. I'm the Special Assistant to the President for Intergovernmental Affairs, and we're very pleased that you've joined us. We have colleagues from multiple agencies who are on this call.
Okay, so I'm going to have to subscribe to that and get in on that. I wonder if there's a link here. Wow, this is a long post. Holy cow. This is big. X.com. So I guess, do you have to subscribe to his X post or public? I'm not sure, but this is if he's got the whole thing, that's pretty wild. And then we have this. This is odd. This is 12 hours ago. A drone crashed on the airfield at Nantucket Memorial Airport just last night. This is an official statement from the town of Nantucket. Drone recovered on an airfield. Now, they do state that this drone was discovered on an area of pavement reserved for safe operation of aircraft. It was immediately reported to FAA. It was a small multi-rotor drone readily available online and weighs under 0.55 pounds. If used recreationally, it may not require FAA registration. So here we have clearly a small commercial drone that has been recovered. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there putting up their own personal drones and some people losing them. And it's just adding to the confusion. And a point, I bring this point up too. This was 6 hours ago. One of the most technologically advanced nations in the world can't figure out where the drones are coming from. I don't buy it. Mystery drones force a shutdown of airport in New York as, quote, invasion spreads. Mystery drones from Vigilant News force shutdown of airport in New York. Wow. And then we have this. This also just happened. 2 arrested after a hazardous drone operation near Boston Airport. This is BC Begley posting this.
Allegedly, Robert Duffy, 42, and Jeremy Folsick, 32, were arrested on Long Island for allegedly operating drones dangerously close to Logan International Airport in Boston. The 2 men were charged with trespassing and may face additional charges related to the drones. Police tracked the operators to a decommissioned health campus after detecting the drone near the airport. The 3rd suspect fled the scene. The arrests follow a series of recent drone sightings in the northeastern U.S. Though no national security threats have been identified, the BBC has reported. Homeland Security officials are working with local authorities to address the issue with calls for increased state powers to counter drone activity.
Okay, so we got a couple guys operating their commercial drone too close. 2 men arrested after drone operates dangerously close to Boston's airport. NTD News. They're arrested on Saturday. Hazardous drone operation coming amid widespread reports of drones flying over the New Jersey region. And of course, we go back to Chuck Schumer. Amid these drone sightings this week, I'll move for the Senate to pass legislation giving local officials the tools and authorities necessary to act quickly in lockstep with government agency, in goose step with government agencies. I think that's what he means. And then we have this. Federal officials will deploy high-tech system to New York after drones shut down the airport. I'm grateful for the support we need. We need more. That's what Kathy Hochul said regarding the rash of recent drone swarm sightings. More high-tech systems are going to be brought out to New York. Mysterious drones in New York State paralyze airport operation. This has gone too far, says Kathy Hochul. So we've got so much happening here. And thankfully, President Trump has given us some insight into that. In my opinion, you really got to read between the lines with what he's saying. But the evidence is overwhelming. We have a BlackRock-connected drone recovered in Brooklyn. Amateur drones losing power when approaching these craft, and Trump himself canceling trips to Bedminster. The government's silence speaks volumes, and here's the question that should keep you up tonight. If they're willing to hide a massive radiological threat from the American people, what else are they concealing? Comment below. And speaking of concealment, you don't want to hide your support for real news. Head over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and grab our exclusive Mag Avengers collection. Yes, we've got some serious designs inspired by patriots who are exposing government secrets. Don't miss out. They are flying off the shelves. Wow. Okay, folks, let's see what you guys are saying. Some super chats came in. And we have, okay, look at this. All right. Okay. Wow. A lot of folks here. Okay, we got this one from Koya Storm. Hi, Navy submarine veteran expat from the Philippines. What's up? Subvet. And thank you for that, $5. And then we have Waking Up Now dropping $10. Thank you for that. We are at our three posts, 3 super chats closer to our goal. We got Sue Studio dropping $5. Good evening. I live not far from Wright-Patterson Air Force. We just heard about this today. Interesting. And then Lone Star Gemini dropping $4.99 super chat. Palo Alto, Mountain View, California places them at and around NADA Ames Research Center, Moffett Field, for what it's worth. And then we have Sue Studio, who has just become a member. Welcome to the club. Thank you for joining us. And we also have Sandra Rivas, who has also just become a member. Brian, where's the applaud? We need the applaud, Brian. And then we also have and she has said prayers for the families and students in Madison, Wisconsin after today's horrific events. Yes, I was monitoring that, and the information coming out of that, of course, mirrors other events that we've seen, and it's pretty disgusting. Oh, look at this. We have Debbie Muddiman, $20. Thank you for that. How nice. Thank you, Debbie, for that. Okay, we're getting closer to the goal tonight. And let's get into our next topic of the evening. Our friends in the Great White North, they're having some big problems up there. Look what's happening in Canada right now. Trudeau's government isn't just failing, it's disintegrating in real time. His finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, well, she just resigned hours before presenting crucial budget numbers. And then her replacement quit immediately after. Why? Well, because Trump's 25% tariff threat exposed their economic house of cards. And now they are freaking out by the rhetoric of Canada becoming the 51st state, and intelligence sources are 98% certain that Trudeau's resignation is imminent. The globalist regime to our north is crumbling, and Trump's strategic pressure is forcing a reckoning that could reshape North America forever. And speaking of crumbling regimes, let's talk about something else that's falling apart. I'm talking about your body's collagen production. Just like Trudeau's government is showing signs of age and decay, your skin loses about 12% of its collagen every decade after 20. But unlike Canada's collapse, this is something you can prevent. Using BioTrust Advanced Collagen Formula featuring 5 essential collagen types, you can fight back against aging and maintain your youthful appearance. Visit healthwithgary.com, link below, for an exclusive 51% discount. It's a bigger drop than the Canadian dollar. Plus, get free VIP health coaching for life. We thank our sponsors for making this happen. Now, a couple days ago, President Trump, gotta love him, joked about Canada becoming the 51st state, and he received an award at a Fox Nation event, and he brought it up again.
Like this one. As you know, I spoke with Canada, and Justin came flying right in because we talked about 25% tariffs. That's just a beginner. This is a hell of a nice crowd. I like this one. This is a nice crowd. Yeah. That's an interesting statement. Thank you very much. I do appreciate all that pent-up anger and love. It's everything at one time.
The crowd is chanting 51, 51. Open source intel. Trump is making Canada uneasy by suggesting it become the 51st state, stating he looks forward to meeting the governor again. And of course, they just don't know how to take a joke up there in Canada.
Do you have any thoughts? Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that, about the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, but so I probably should comment. Just that with the Truth Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain, I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny. And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect, and we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada that aren't true.
Well, now Canada is falling apart. Before I get to that, let's flash back to this.
From two people. And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Right.
Did you hear what he said there, though? Listen.
Dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump...
New tariffs would kill the Canadian economy. That is what Trudeau said. Now, Kyle Becker, speaking of flashbacks, posted this. If you want to know why Justin Trudeau is on the verge of resigning as Canada's Prime Minister, this woman says it all in just 22 seconds.
We do with trade. You've sold us out to globalism.
Okay.
You are not working for Canada. You are working for your globalist partners. I wonder how much they're paying you to betray Canada. Okay. What do we do with traitors in Canada, Mr. Trudeau? We used to hang them for treason. And you're doing that very same thing to us now.
Okay. Wow.
You've sold us out to global.
So that's some of the sentiment up in the Great White North. The end of an era 10 hours ago. Trudeau's resignation looms. Freedom for Canada. Canada, brace yourself. Serious rumors are swirling, and intelligence sources are 98% certain Justin Trudeau is about to resign as Prime Minister. But that's not all. His right hand and architect of countless globalist policies, Chrystia Freeland, has already stepped down. Together, they've pushed Canada into deeper debt, undermined freedoms, and put globalist agendas ahead of Canadians' well-being. This could be the turning point we've been waiting for, a chance to reclaim our country, rebuild, and restore freedom for all Canadians. Without them, we can finally focus on our true values and independence. Stay tuned. A brighter future may be just around the corner. Jim Ferguson posting that 10 hours ago. And we have this, Andrew Scheer. He is a Regina Quaaplet MP, second Conservative Party leader, 35th HOC Speaker, principled conservative, defender of economic freedom and human rights. And this is what he had to say about what's going on. But I got some video here the meltdowns today were crazy. Let's play Andrew's remark.
He's trying to tell Canadians. So Justin Trudeau today tabled his economic update after his finance minister resigned rather than go through the humiliation of delivering the bad news. And it's full of crazy stuff. He's trying to tell Canadians that they've never had it so good. He's saying that everything's fine with the massive new $62 billion deficit smashing through that $40 billion guardrail that Chrystia Freeland said was going to keep the Canadian economy safe. Trudeau's claiming that a sign that everything's fine is the Bank of Canada is cutting interest rates. Except, if you look at what the Bank of Canada is saying they're taking this measure because the Canadian economy is performing so poorly. Does everything seem fine when a government smashes through a $40 billion guardrail and tables a $62 billion deficit? Does everything seem fine when the government tries to give away $250 checks to everyone earning $150,000, then has to completely reverse themselves? Does everything seem fine when the Liberals bring in a temporary GST tax credit that businesses say they can't implement, that Trudeau himself says will be optional, and Canadians are told to keep the receipts, send them into the CRA, and hope for the best? Does everything seem fine where nobody knew who the finance minister was in a G7 country for 6 hours? Crime, housing, immigration, opioids, our border, it's all out of control. Nothing's fine. And nothing's fine with our challenge with the United States as President Trump comes back to office with a strong and fresh mandate, and Canada has a leader that is weak and has lost control. He's lost control of his caucus. He's lost the confidence of a fifth of his MPs. He's lost the confidence of his cabinet ministers and of the Canadian people. So if Justin Trudeau is so sure that Canadians agree with him that everything's fine, why doesn't he have the backbone to put that question to the people? Call a carbon tax election so Canadians can decide for themselves. So Justin Trudeau today tabled his economic up.
You see what's happening? Trump's not even in office yet, and the pressure is on Canada, and they are in shambles. The Canadian government is imploding. Harrison Faulkner, the Canadian government is imploding as we speak. Chrystia Freeland is out. Sean Fraser is out. How much longer does Justin Trudeau have left? And this is from WION News, and this is Harrison Faulkner on that program.
Harrison Faulkner is a journalist and host of Ratioed on True North, and he's now joining us on this broadcast from Toronto. Harrison, good to have you with us. What's happening?
Well, what's happening is Justin Trudeau's cabinet is imploding on itself, and it's happening at a slightly faster rate than I think even the most liberal connected journalists anticipated. The news of Freeland's announcement today, as according to the reporting, took every local journalist and even the cabinet by surprise because, as you mentioned in your report, Freeland is set to announce the fall economic statement today. And now it's not clear who's actually going to release that statement, who's going to present it, as Freeland is no longer the finance minister as well as the deputy prime minister. But it's important to read into that statement a little more in depth. Chrystia Freeland, as you mentioned, one of Justin Trudeau's most loyal political allies, largely seen as the brains of the Trudeau operation, takes a shot at Justin Trudeau by saying that this country cannot afford, quote, costly political gimmicks in response to Donald Trump's tariff threat, which she describes as a possible tariff war. So this is some major breaking news, and it's a very bad day for Justin Trudeau.
Wow. This is huge. Holy cow. Chaos in Canada. Freeland resigned today just hours before she was supposed to report the fall budget numbers. Next person in line below Freeland then immediately resigned. Now Trudeau is considering resigning. Let's listen in.
Overrun. Mr. Speaker, just to underline the chaos we're faced with here, the finance minister resigned the day she was to present the fall budget, which was going to contain a massive deficit overrun. The job then went automatically to the industry minister, who immediately resigned, like on the spot, which then went down the line, and the next person in order was the famous two Randys. and they're not available to do the job either. We're now less than 2 hours away from the fall economic update. Why won't the Prime Minister have the courage to come in here, present it himself, and put it for a confidence vote tonight? Mr. Speaker.
Oh, it's going down. Viva Frey. It's actually insane, he says. Freeland resigns 2 hours before the full budget to be presented. The replacement resigns, refuses to take the helm. The Trudeau regime is going down, and it looks like it might be going down today. Gunter Eagleman. Trump has sent the Canadian Parliament into a tailspin. You just love to see it. What is she saying?
This is as serious as it gets. The finance minister quit hours before she was supposed to do this, and she doesn't have confidence in this prime minister. No one does. This man is a disgrace, and we need an election now.
Wow. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. I got more. Global News CA. Canadian NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says all options are on the table.
On top of that, right now Canadians are struggling with the cost of living. I hear it everywhere I go. People cannot find a home that they can afford. They can't buy their groceries. And on top of that, we have Trump threatening tariffs at 25%, which put hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk. And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. And for that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
Will you declare no confidence in the Liberal government as soon as possible?
All tools, all options are on the table. People are hurting. People are struggling. And so all options are on the table. That means everything is possible. But what is clear, given what we have seen, Justin Trudeau and a Liberal government that are focused on themselves, they are infighting at a time when people cannot even do their groceries. They can't even find homes that are affordable. And we've got the threat of Donald Trump and 25% tariffs that mean hundreds of thousands of jobs are at risk. Because of that, I'm saying very clearly that Justin Trudeau has to resign. All options on the table. Thank you very much. Merci.
You guys see this? Just the threat of these tariffs has put Canada in a total tailspin, and now everybody is calling for Trudeau to resign. Now, I don't think that Trump had that in his 40 chess game lineup. I don't think so. But I love to see it because Trudeau has to go. Absolutely amazing.
As you know, I spoke with Canada, and Justin came flying right in because we talked about 25% tariffs. That's just a beginner. This is a hell of a nice crowd. I like this one.
Donald Trump is the boss. So the implications are staggering. Canada's government is in free fall, with top officials jumping ship faster than rats from a sinking vessel. But here is the question nobody's asking. Was this Trump's plan all along? I don't know. I mean, did he deliberately pressure Canada's weak spots to trigger the controlled demolition of globalist power on our northern border? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And show your support for America's expansion at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our exclusive Mag Avengers collection, well, they are for patriots who understand where this is all heading. Also, make sure you check out our t-shirts and everything else. So don't wait. These pieces are going to be collector's items when Canada joins the Union. Wow. Oh my goodness. I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming today. My buddy Tom, and he only again, he's probably watching. I know you're watching right now, Tom. I hope you're doing well. He only calls me or texts me. You guys know this. I tell you guys this all the time. My buddy Tom always calls me or texts me, an X post or something, like when, missiles are launched or something crazy is going on. Now, I have to admit, I didn't think much of it when he told me that these people had resigned. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's happening in Canada. The closer I looked at it, and recognizing the pressure campaign that Trump is putting on Canada just broke the dam. This is huge. Unbelievable. Gotta love it, though. Oh, man. What are you guys saying in the chat room? Brian, okay, Granola Grin, $2, MAGA Canada. MAGA Canada. Make Canada great again. And then we got Brian, $9.99. Merry Christmas, Gary. Thank you for all your great work and being a great patriot throughout the years. God bless, and looking forward to a great new year. So am I. MAGA 2025. Okay, real quick, we'll just check in on the main chat, see what you guys are saying. You guys enjoying? Are all of our members enjoying all those new emojis we just had created? Anthony, the fall of leadership. West, Tony Abbott, Bill Bradley, praise Lord Trump, King of Israel. What? Globalist elites are losing, says Kathy. Dave Mills says, I'm a Canadian and our country has become a third world country. Wow. Hello from Canada. F. Trudeau, says Ben set free by JC. Amen. Drill, baby, drill, says Joseph. Gen X, fight, fight, fight. And I want to say, no show tomorrow. Your excuse will be up. Thanks, DB. No show tomorrow. Your excuse will be because you're up till 5 a.m. Yeah, it's 12:15 and we're only our second segment in. That's what's going to happen, right? That's why we need to hire a producer to help me get in line. And I actually spoke with one today, and it was a really good conversation. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I will get some help. But that fight, fight, fight emoji, that was all Brian. That was all Brian's idea. I'm giving him full credit for it. He's like, you should make one with your fist in the air and the words fight, fight, fight. And so you guys can post that as much as you want. Parmas Dax, always sharing your show with my family and friends. Thank you, Parmas. Love that. I love to hear that. Okay, we got to get into our next topic so that I'm not up till 5 a.m., but I don't think I have much of a choice, so let's just continue the show. Okay. Patriots, the battle lines are being drawn. Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, has dropped a bombshell in Chicago that's sending sanctuary city mayors into panic mode. His message? If you impede us, if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien, I will prosecute you. We're not talking about strongly worded letters here. We're talking about mayors in handcuffs. And Brandon Johnson, Chicago's far-left enabler, well, now he's threatening to arrest ICE agents. Yeah. But Homan fired back with a message that should send chills down every sanctuary mayor's spine. Stand aside, because we're coming. And just like these sanctuary cities are feeling the heat from Homan's enforcement plans, Americans everywhere are feeling the squeeze from skyrocketing heating bills. But while sanctuary mayors scramble for cover, you can stay warm without breaking the bank. This incredible portable heater plugs right into your wall outlet and provides instant warmth at a fraction of the cost, perfect for your security post while you're monitoring illegal activity in your neighborhood. Visit staywarmnow.com and get 60% off plus free shipping. Don't let Biden's energy policies freeze you out. Take control of your comfort today. Okay. Now, we'll set the stage with this. Just 3 days ago, Tom Homan makes it clear he will charge mayors with a felony if they try to stop the deportation.
Which, I find him. So you will not only go after the illegal migrants, you may go after some mayors who aren't helping?
If they step over that line, they can sit back and watch us, which I find incredible. You don't want to take public safety threats out of your community and help us. But there are laws on the books that we will prosecute. It's 18 U.S.C. 111, impeding a federal law enforcement officer is a felony. Title 8 United States Code 1324 III. If you knowingly conceal or harbor an illegal alien from ICE, that is a felony. When I was an agent a long time ago, I've arrested U.S. citizens for harboring an alien in their home or place of employment. If I can do it to a citizen, why can't I do it to a politician who's going to actively get in our way, prevent us from doing our job?
Yeah.
And there are some who are saying this. There was a post of Insurrection Barbie posted on X. She said, Mayor Johnson has said that he is going to block ICE officers. And I said, well, which Mayor Johnson? Well, I'm like, is it Chicago Mayor Johnson or is it the Denver Mayor Johnson? If you remember, the mayor of Denver had this to say.
I would expect other residents. I would certainly protest it, and I would expect other residents would do the same.
Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is willing to arrest leaders like yourself for standing in the way of these policies that they want to enact. Would you be willing to go to jail for these things?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I'm also not seeking that. I think the goal is we want to be able to negotiate with reasonable people how to solve hard problems. Republican and Democratic presidents in the past have all tried to find solutions to these problems. President Reagan helped people get access to work so they could stay and support themselves. Biden and Harris worked on restricting entry at the border to close down. There are a lot of ways to approach this problem. We don't think it has to come to this. But yeah, I think when you look at, Ralph Carr has always been one of my heroes. He was the governor who in the middle of the internment of Japanese Americans said this was the wrong thing to do. And he stood up. It was unpopular. People were mad at him about it. That was in the middle of wartime. If the president or any of his actors are going to do things that we think are illegal or immoral or un-American, we'll stand up against it. I would certainly.
Well, bring out the GIMP. But the GIMP's sleeping. We'll wake him up. Yeah, that's what that guy reminds me of. Trump border czar Tom Homan, just in Chicago recently. We played this the other day, but this is all part of the stage we're setting here.
Says there are no.
If he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him.
Yes. Let's go.
And while Homan says there are no plans for family separation, President Trump's immigration surrogate offered this blunt take.
You need to take the child home with you. If he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him.
Yes. Let's go. 12 hours ago, Ben Owen, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, vows to fight illegal aliens deportation. He doesn't know what he's up against. Tom Homan, if you don't want help, stand aside because we are coming. Deportations are going to happen whether the mayor likes it or not.
Tom Homan put it about this. The incoming administration's threat around immigration is dangerous and irresponsible, and this administration is threatening our economy. Incoming border czar Tom Homan put in a priority on national safety. His first order of business is removing more than 1 million convicted criminal migrants in the country, despite orders for deportation.
Chicago, with the crime rate and the shootings at the level they're at, I just can't believe that they want to sit there and call law enforcement officers the bad guy. Why wouldn't he want help in removing public safety threats? But I'm going to do it, and that's what I told him. I said, "You don't want to help? Fine. I can't believe you don't want to help remove criminals, but guess what? If you don't want to help, just stand aside because we're coming."
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin in a moment on how.
Buckle up because he is coming for you. Oh, here's that post. Mayor Johnson is threatening to arrest ICE agents if they try to deport immigrants. And let me see if my there it is. Which Mayor Johnson, Chicago or Denver? Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. And then we have this. Now, this is back in December 4th. Incoming White House Deputy Chief of Staff lays out the first 100 days. Listen.
You're going to complete. Well, let me paint a picture for you, Sean, of those first 100 days. Rapid, total, complete deregulation of American energy exploration. You're going to see an American energy boom starting right away. You're going to see all the regulations that are strangling job growth in this country and driving up prices, driving up housing costs go away. You're going to see the border sealed shut. The criminal aliens are going to be shipped home, and foreign countries around the world are going to accept the gang members and the cartel members that are poisoning our families and murdering American children. You are going to see peace begin to restore to the world as the president works to bring back harmony in the Middle East, harmony in Europe. You're going to see him work with Congress to pass another round of historic tax relief. And you're going to see a government that is accountable to the people again. The swamp will be drained on day one. Incompetent and disloyal people that are hurting this nation are going to be replaced with those who care only for the American people, the American worker, and the American future. That's what's going to happen. It will be a new golden age, Sean.
The new golden age is coming, friends. It is coming. And then, okay, this was just 8 hours ago. Border czar Tom Homan threatens to arrest and charge Democrats trying to stop Trump deportations.
Am I not wrong that?
A felony we will prosecute.
Rules of this country, wouldn't that be considered an insurrection?
I don't know, but it's a felony. A felony we will prosecute. And look, there's a lot of hate out there right now. I mean, I got death threats against me and my family, and because I'm going to do the job that Congress has required us to do. They enacted the laws for us to enforce. They budget us to do this job. We're going to do it. But people need to understand, I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm not going away. I'm not going to be silenced. We're going to do this job. And again, don't cross the line. I would ask the mayor of Chicago, Governor Pritzker, simply read the statute. Read 18 U.S.C. 111. Read 1324 III. Read them. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I know how to read. I think they know how to read too. Just read the statute and you decide if you're going to cross that line or instruct anybody else to cross that line, because we're going to get this job done. We're the biggest national security threat this nation's ever had. The southern border with 2.2 million gotaways, but even some of the ones they arrested and released that weren't properly vetted, that came back hot after they released them, that they were on the list, the terrorist watch list. Biggest national security vulnerability in my lifetime. Even the FBI director, who I have zero respect in, even he agrees with me. Biggest national security vulnerability in the history of this nation. More red flags never seen before. And you, as an elected governor, elected mayor, want to stop me from removing public safety threats and national security threats from your communities? It's insulting at every level. Look, the New York City Mayor Eric Adams brought me to the table, and he sees his job as mayor. Plus, that when I sat down with him, I quickly saw a career cop come out on him, because he's a career cop. He understands public safety threats should not be walking our neighborhoods. So he's stepping up. I'm hoping other mayors and governors step up. Hoping it create a domino effect that people start reading the statute, start talking to. Talk to your constituents, for God's sake. The mayor of Chicago should talk to his constituents. He has the lowest rating in the history of any mayor in the history of the United States ever. I think he's got like a 21% approval rating now. So look, read the statute, be advised, we're coming. You're not going to stop us.
We are coming, and you are not going to stop us. Remember when Elon Musk went down to the border?
Obviously, Elon here. I'm at Eagle Pass, just arrived. You know, as an immigrant to the United States, I'm extremely pro-immigrant. And I believe that we need a greatly expanded legal immigration system, and that we should let anyone in the country who is hardworking and honest and will be a contributor to the United States. But then by the same token, we should also not be allowing people in the country if they're breaking the law.
Don't let them in if they're breaking the law. We got morale is up at the Border Patrol. I got some wild footage that just came in from the border. Okay, we got Greg Abbott. Okay, Ben Bergquam, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at this. This is not a line at a new Disney World ride. This is Biden's illegal alien invasion, brought to you by the CVP1 app. This is from Tijuana, Mexico, happening right now. He published this 9 hours ago. Look at that. It's like a conveyor belt of illegals. Look at them all. One after another. Just filing in. This is all, this he says, breaking footage, Tijuana, Mexico. The third group of illegals are being brought in by Joe Biden and the Democrats under the CVP1 app. Everyone you see is walking, who is walking up the ramp is part of it. They had a group the same size at 5 a.m., another group the same size at 8 a.m., and it happens every day. This was the 8th stop on their Mexican border tour, and every single CVP1 port is active. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's still happening. Okay, and just a day ago, Greg Abbott said construction on the Texas border wall, continues in Maverick County. Texas is building a wall at the border to protect our nation from the dangers created by the Biden-Harris administration's open border policies. Here is President Trump talking about, Biden's selling off the wall. And he had this to say.
An act administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, you know, we can do some more, because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation. And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more, not even talking about the time. Time would be pretty long, but we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have. And people have already come back to us that have deals at 5 cents and 4 cents, and one guy at 3 cents on the dollar, and they offered to sell it back to us at more money than it cost us to build substantially. Can you believe it? So they make a deal with the United States to buy it for pennies, and then they call us and they say, do you want to buy it back? We'll sell it back to you for hundreds of dollars a foot. Hundreds of dollars, from pennies to hundreds of dollars a foot. And we can't let this take place. Now, we're going to go. I spoke with the Attorney General of Texas. I spoke to the senators of Texas. I spoke to a lot of people, and hopefully they'll be able to stop. We're going to be, having a restraining order. But just think about how ridiculous it is. And this is just people that don't want this country to succeed. And this has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. This has to do with common sense. We won on common sense, and this is maybe one of the most egregious examples I've seen. So the people that are buying it or trying to buy it are trying to make a deal with us to sell it back at hundreds of times more than we paid. And this is all because the Democrats. So I'm asking today Joe Biden to please stop selling the wall. We're going to use that to create a strong barrier. And it worked. That's why our numbers were so good. It really worked, and it worked well. And it's very expensive to do. And I'm asking Joe Biden to stop his people from giving it away. It's something that people can't even believe is happening. So hopefully Joe will be able to stop it.
Yeah, I don't think Joe is going to stop it, though, because he wants scenes like this at the border, the conveyor belt of illegals. And speaking of New York, Mayor Eric Adams, he is under siege because he dared to go against the narrative. And Trump was asked about if he should pardon Eric Adams.
In an airplane.
Would you consider pardoning Eric Adams?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded. They see you're all stars, and they say, I want to upgrade that person from NBC. I'm going to upgrade him. And that would mean you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I don't know. Somehow, I'd have to see it because I don't know the facts. I think he was treated. It's very interesting. When he essentially went against what was happening with the migrants coming in. And, he made some pretty strong statements like, this is not sustainable. I said, you know what? He'll be indicted soon. And I said it not as a prediction, a little bit lightheartedly, but I said it. I said, he's going to be indicted. And a few months later, he got indicted. So yeah, I would certainly look at it.
Would you consider pardoning?
He would certainly look at pardoning Eric Adams. I mean, he's not even in office yet, and he's already being asked about pardons. As you know, Joe Biden is he's pardoning everybody. The most pardons of any president in recent history. Oscar L. Blue, CPB-1, is flying migrants all the way to the Mexican port of entry, and he published this 5 days ago. Let's take a sneak peek.
Right here. Oscar Blue for Real America's Voices. Behind me, you can see a massive group of people arriving for the CBP-1 app to enter the United States of America. The strategy has changed from the government of Mexico. They moved them from the other pedestrian port of entry and they moved them to this one. There's two pedestrian port of entry. So what they do is they have just arrived on a plane. They put them through their private intake, and they move them to this particular lane where you see, some of them are still waiting right here. Then the Institute of National Immigration of Mexico comes and picks them up and takes them all the way into the intake, the other intake, for them to enter the United States of America. So the CBP-1 continues massively still to enter the United States before Donald Trump enters to take power on January 20th.
Yeah. And but the good news is, despite all of this, the morale is up.
There's a lot of violence through the roof. We received hundreds of calls, texts, emails, just saying how happy the agents are. There's a lot of agents that had originally said that they would retire if President Trump did not win. They know this one's going to be even better.
Lieutenant, some people who resigned or who retired from Border Patrol, we hear that they're coming back. They want to come back. That accurate?
Stuart, the Border Patrol right now, their morale is higher than it's ever been. Now they have actually something to look forward to, actually have some type of fulfillment in what they do every single day. I'm actually out here this morning working with Border Patrol, and I'm talking to some of the agents, and they're just excited to see what's going to come the next year.
Violence through the roof.
We are all excited to see what happens. But those sanctuary cities, man, they are on notice. The gig is up, and the showdown is just beginning. With mayors openly defying federal law and home and promising prosecutions, we're heading towards a constitutional crisis. But here is the real question, keeping the deep state up at night. What happens when Trump's border czar starts connecting the dots between sanctuary city policies and even potential dirty bomb smuggling routes? Don't miss our MAG Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Yes, this is like the unofficial uniform of patriots who understand that national security starts at home. Yes, make sure you get it, because they'll not just clothes, they're a statement that you stand with law enforcement against the sanctuary madness. All right. Parmis Dax, what's up? Dropping $10. Thank you for that. And we are 4 minutes away from hitting our goal. Are we going to hit our goal tonight? I don't know. Maybe we will. Marie Thompson, $9.99. Impeachments, she says. COVID, assassination attempts, drones, bombs, and they haven't learned yet that nothing will stop Trump and all of us. Wow. Parmis Dax, she says, thank you, Gary and Angie, for everything throughout the last few years. Well, thank you, Parmis. Thank you so much. And then we had a $9.99 from Geneva Wilkerson. No comment, but she decided that she was going to support the show, and we thank you for that, Geneva. Okay, let's get to our next topic here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was a big story that happened today. Man. Wow. James O'Keefe strikes again. What I'm about to show you is beyond shocking. A National Security Council advisor caught on undercover video has confirmed our worst fears about the supposed leader of the free world. Henry Appel, who works at the Intelligence Programs Directorate, was caught saying that Joe Biden is dead. He can't say a sentence. Now, this is not just some random staffer. This is a former spy currently working inside the White House national security apparatus. Meanwhile, reports are surfacing that Biden's handlers are already discussing preemptive pardons for the deep state operatives like Schiff and Fauci before Trump's return to power. James O'Keefe striking again. And while Biden's cognitive decline is on full display, you don't have to accept mental fog as your destiny. Science shows that proper collagen supplementation can support not just skin health, but brain function too. That's why I trust BioTrust Premium Collagen Complex. Unlike the cognitive chaos in the White House, this advanced formula helps maintain mental clarity and focus. Visit healthwithgary.com for an exclusive 51% discount plus free VIP health coaching for life. Don't let age slow you down. Take control of your mental sharpness today with the collagen supplement I personally trust. We thank our sponsors for making this show possible. Okay, who can forget when Tucker Carlson said this?
I think that the current administration is very obviously incompetent and the president is senile. That's not an attack. Everyone knows it. It has now been confirmed, I would say, this week in the report that you're all familiar with. But and that's very sad. But it had sort of nothing to do with the interview. I wanted to interview Putin because he's the leader of a country that the U.S. government is sort of at war with, though not in a declared way. I think that
we all know Joe Biden's cognitive decline has been accelerating for quite some time. I mean, here's this from the Daily Wire from July.
Of the word.
You noticed anything that gives you a red flag as a doctor?
Now, they posted this, but this is actually NBC.
Oh, yeah, I see him 20 times a day in clinic. I mean, it's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word finding difficulties, and that's not, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that be part of that, too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemmonode dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity, monotone voice.
Wait, go back to that, the rigidity. What do you mean?
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of en bloc turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold hypophonia. A small monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms from Parkinson's. We just had him up there on the screen. If we can put him back. What about the movement? Some people have pointed out the way he walks. Sometimes it's not very fast, small steps. Is that something that is common in people who are battling a disease like Parkinson's?
Yeah, it's a hallmark. Shuffling gait, we call that. So little steps. Loss of arm swing from the rigidity when we walk.
Now, I just want to point out, you see the lower third there, the graphic on the screen. This was back when that Parkinson's expert that came out visited the White House 8 times. I remember clearly reporting on this.
Of a nice cadence. You notice he doesn't really swing his arms. And en bloc turning, meaning he kind of pivots around his foot. If you said, hey, President Biden, he wouldn't go like this. So, yeah.
But I also know.
So, and then, okay, here's this. Jill Stein. Yes, absolutely. A former medical doctor. She says the signs President Biden has early Alzheimer's.
You don't need.
It just seems like he is not put out there to the press that often.
Oh, yeah. I mean, excuse me. You don't need a report from insiders, to see that he's more than slipping. He's long since fallen flat. The way that he delivered, for example, his very important so-called Israeli peace plan, which the Israelis have yet to accept. The way he delivered that, was really kind of shocking. It was so subdued. It was as if, I don't know, it was as if he was talking about a funeral or some small, insignificant thing. And his emotional appearance is so muted and so out of touch with what he's talking about. He does not, seem like a well man. And, I haven't been practicing medicine for some years now, but, having had family members who succumbed to Alzheimer's disease and related modes of cognitive decline, Parkinson's, you can't get to be my age with my color hair and not have witnessed a lot of this going on, especially in our parents' generation. This is a very common illness, and it's
Do you think there's signs that he might have early Alzheimer's or one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's little about him that seems well. And, you can never say from a distance what a cognitive problem is about, and whether it's a symptom of something else or whether it's the primary driver, but just broad brushstroke, yeah, he sure looks like he's having issues of cognitive decline and has for quite some time.
And of course, the White House has covered this up repeatedly. Here's Jeff Van Drew.
Let me put those. According to another New York Times poll, there is vast concern in this country about the president's age. Let me put those numbers on the screen for you. Among all voters, 71% say that this president is simply too old to be effective. And even among his own supporters, this is the astounding number to me, 54% of Biden's supporters say he's too old to be effective. Ageism is not really a factor here. It's just kind of staring everybody in the face.
Okay, now here's Jeff Van Drew. My apologies.
It's not just the age. You can be a certain age and be sharp and, very able. It's a cognitive disability that this president has. Obviously, he's been affected. Obviously, there's something going on with his health. He barely sometimes can string two sentences together. He has a pause where he completely forgets what he was speaking about. I don't want to be mean-spirited, but my God, everybody around the world sees this. Our enemies see it. Iran sees it. Russia sees it. China sees it. John, all the things that are happening around the world are happening because they perceive our president and the administration and our country, unfortunately, as being weak. It all started with Afghanistan when he left the way he did and left all our equipment and Afghan nationals and Americans there. Then it continued. President Putin made a lot of noise before he went into Ukraine. When that happened in the last administration, President Trump made it clear to him to Putin that if he went in, there'd be held to pay. Biden really didn't do anything. So, of course, Putin went in, and now this administration has us involved in a surrogate war. All of these things happen. Look what happened in Iran. We not only loosened up the $6 billion, that's nothing compared to the money that they brought in when we removed the sanctions that were in place. And when I say we, not us, I say this president and his administration. What a mistake. What a sign of weakness. What do you think's going to happen?
So all this from Biden's weakness, I mean, who can ever forget this moment? He fell off the bike in front of all the cameras. I mean, falling up the stairs. Remember that? It's bad. Tom Fitton posting this. Biden gang discussing use of a disabled Biden to issue legally dubious preemptive pardons for corrupt staff, Fauci, and others who they worry might be held accountable by real Donald Trump. Everyone's asking these questions. Remember when they said that Biden wasn't even cognitively able to stand trial? He's just an old man. He's a well-meaning old man. He can't stand trial for those documents, right? The ones next to his Corvette in the garage, he can't stand trial for that, but we can go after Donald Trump all day long. So he's not competent to stand trial, but he certainly is competent to hand out all these pardons. I mean, who's putting all these pardons in front of his face? Right? They're just putting stuff in front of him. Sign here, sign here, sign here. Tom Fitton had this to say, Joe Biden, who is cognitively disabled, obviously let Hunter's lawyers control the writing of the pardon documents. There still needs to be a real investigation in the Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office actions before Weiss was appointed special counsel, but I'm glad Leo Weiss, Derek Hines, who were brought in to clean the house. Kyle Becker, we'll get to that in a moment. Oh, here's Kamala Harris. I'm gonna get to the James O'Keefe bombshell because it's oh my God, these people are so stupid, man. Getting honeypotted. Kamala Harris telling donors the $1.5 billion she raised made her campaign stronger.
As a result of your leadership and your support,
The National Finance Committee held more than 700 events across the country and raised nearly $700 million. An historic achievement, which without a doubt made our campaign stronger. As a result,
yeah, and of course you did lose your campaign. And Biden says they ran a campaign that was scandal-free.
It's hard to do. We run a campaign that's basically scandal-free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
Well, the real scandal is Biden's cognitive decline. I'm going to get to this Stephen Smith's statement about basically getting red-pilled about January 6th. We're going to get that in a second. This is actually pretty interesting, what he says here. But more importantly, I really want to get to James O'Keefe's freaking bombshell. Shocking undercover video. Okay, sorry for the long setup, but this is it. Joe Biden is dead. National Security Council advisor inside the White House details Biden can't say a sentence.
Well, here's some tea. Joe Biden is like dead. He can't just say a sentence. He's like really progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal. He'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like in Europe or something. The phone rang in the office, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are."
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later, asking for Sullivan again.
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office, and he called my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, "Hello, Mr. President, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you." And he asked me some questions, and I was like, "I don't know, let me get the track him down. So I'll call his Secret Service detail." And it's like, I'll try his unclassified phone, then 10 seconds later, the same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, "Hi again, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" And I was like, "No, you called the same office."
Henry Appel stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
Another time my boss went in to brief him, I had written the talking points. I said, "Oh, this is like a novel phenomenon or something. It's new. It hasn't been done before." My boss said it. I was just novel? What do you mean, a book? What do you mean novel? The two meanings of the word novel, he was lost them.
Henry even goes on to say, on his dating profile, his greatest strength is, quote, oversharing on the first date. You can't make this shit up. Henry Appel states that we, referring to his team at the National Security Council, were crying the night of Trump's victory, claiming they are all, quote, trauma bonded.
So everybody's probably she's gone right? What?
No, wait, it's drawn us closer to each other because we're all going through it together.
We shared trauma.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Trauma bond.
We're trauma bonded, yeah.
Right. What was it like when you guys found out?
There were a lot of tears the next morning. Sure. I gotta find a new job.
Then Henry Appel shares to our undercover journalist, White House officials and national security officials are concerned about the incoming Trump administration coming after them for things they may have done wrong.
We're also concerned about them coming after us. They'd investigate us or whatever.
James O'Keefe. Oh, and in true James O'Keefe, to catch a predator fashion, had this.
And he's sharing secrets and spilling tea to a stranger in a restaurant. Henry even goes on to say that on his dating profile, his greatest strength... I gotta ask you a question. What the one on to mention that Biden...
No, I didn't really have. Just like
come on.
In the last meeting with Henry Appel, Henry showed up to the restaurant, but he didn't find his date. He found me outside of the restaurant waiting for him. Here's part of that conversation. Hi. Henry? Henry Appel? National Security Council. Hi. I gotta ask you a question. What the hell is the guy who's an advisor to the National Security Council doing? Spilling the quote tea to an undercover journalist. Stay tuned for that full interaction with Henry to see how he responded. And if you're on the inside of the White House or any government institution and notice corruption or lies hidden from public view that you want us to disclose to the American people, please email us tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or text us at this phone number here, 914-491-9395, and our journalism team will get back to you. Thank you, and stay tuned.
All right, James, we're staying tuned. I'm going to check your profile right now. Did you post it? Did you post it? Come on. Come on, what did you post? 4 hours ago, we have a dance-off. Leo Terrell, Sean Hannity reposting it. Libs of TikTok reposting it. RT reposting it. InfoWars, Gateway Pundit, everyone. Oh, boy. Come on. Miss Mary, Benny Johnson, everybody. Oh, come on. Where is it? I want to see him confront him. I guess we're going to have to just wait and see. But I did want to play this because I felt that this is very important. That, because we've been deceived. We have been lied to about Biden's health. And this ties into all the deception. And all that deception is now seeping into, prominent members of the left in the Democrat Party. And, that January 6th report came out and said that there were, in fact, FBI agents. I believe they said 24 assets in the crowd on January 6th. And Democrats who have been saying, oh, there's never been a problem. No. It was all an insurrection. Well, now they know the truth. And they are turning on the Democrat Party. Let's listen to this. This is Stephen A. Smith. He says, I'm really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented.
Articulated. The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department that revealed the FBI had at least 26 confidential informants on the ground when the Capitol was stormed on January 6, 2021. The report says most of the informants engaged in illegal activity during the chaos. The Justice Department says only 3 of its 26 informants present had been instructed to observe potential domestic terrorist suspects on the day of the riot. The rest of the 23 appear to have gone to the Capitol on their own accord. Upon hearing news of the report, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted the following on X, quote, for those keeping score at home, this was labeled a dangerous conspiracy theory months ago, end quote. Didn't hear anything about that for the election. Didn't hear anything about that when the quote-unquote insurrection was broached by Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. The belief that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy and using this as a profound, illuminating bullet point to make that case. And now here we are yet again finding even more evidence.
Oh, wow.
To Donald Trump's claims when he articulated that the process is rigged. My big issue is that I'm really, really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else that the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented along the way. I mean, I see Republicans like Megyn Kelly or Officer Tatum or Candace Owens or, the Sean Hannitys of the world. You know what I'm getting tired of? To the Democratic Party. You know what I'm getting really pissed off about? I'm getting really ticked off at every time they open their mouth about something pertaining to y'all, they seem right to make the case that the right had a monopoly on insidious, evil tendencies, corrupt tendencies, duplicitous, hypocritical, untruthful tendencies. And every time they made those accusations, we turn around and find out that at least some of them are guilty of the same shit. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of all of it. I'm sick of all of it. They've actually made Donald Trump look like he was right instead of them. The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department.
Wow. Did you just hear that? That is just one person, and he reaches a lot of people. The dam is breaking. The wall is crumbling. Everything that we've been talking about always gets proven true. For months and months and months, we've been talking about the decline. The media has been lying to us. Scandal-free, right? You got an insider, James O'Keefe, honeypots another, and you hear it from their own mouth while they're trying to woo a woman over a glass of wine. The implications, my friends, are staggering. If a National Security Council advisor is openly admitting that Biden can't function, who's running the country? Who? And here's the question that should terrify every American. How many critical national security decisions have been made while Biden was completely incapacitated? Comment below. And you can make a statement with our new Mega Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Yes, patriots who understand the importance of mental acuity, they're snatching these up. And of course, you can take on the biggest cover-up in presidential history. These designs aren't just clothing, they are a conversation starter about the crisis in our White House. Grab one. Wow. Isn't that wild? That last guy, for me, Stephen Smith, just tied it all together with a nice little bow. That's why I saved him for last, because I knew it was so important. There's a lot of setup, we're trying to, paint the picture for you. I try to do that my best by, building these narratives, deconstructing all the lies, exposing it all for you guys. I do have some fun with it. You guys make it easy though, because you guys are here and I love you guys so much. Beautiful. Man, James O'Keefe, man. Oh, man. Okay, we got more to get to. Let's jump on it right now. Okay. You ready, Brian? All right. Brian is ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're witnessing is the assembly of the most powerful anti-establishment strike force in American history. Trump's appointment of RFK Jr. as HHS Secretary isn't just a nomination, it's a declaration of war on Big Pharma's empire. Kennedy's Capitol Hill meetings, they're sending shockwaves through the pharmaceutical industrial complex. Meanwhile, billionaire Mark Andreessen joins the DOGE task force as an unpaid volunteer, promising a top-to-bottom audit of every government regulation. The deep state isn't just nervous, they are terrified, and for the first time, outsiders with real power are about to expose decades of corruption. And while Trump's team turns up the heat on the deep state, you can stay warm without breaking the bank. This revolutionary portable heater is exactly what you need for those long nights following the government takedown. Just plug it into any outlet and enjoy instant warmth while you track RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearings. Don't let Biden's energy crisis freeze you out of comfort. Visit staywarmnow.com for an incredible 60% discount and free shipping. Join the thousands of patriots who've already discovered the secret to affordable wealth. Warmth. That's my other ad. Order now before the deep state tries to regulate this too. Okay, so RFK Jr. on Capitol Hill storming the swamp. But something equally as shocking just happened. You heard about this, right? It was George Stephanopoulos. Uh-oh, something went wrong. What happened, George? Well, I guess George decided that he was going to leave X. Yeah, couldn't take the heat. Mario Naval. Now, this happened a couple days ago. George Stephanopoulos deletes his X account after defamation lawsuit loss. He deleted his X account after losing a high-profile defamation lawsuit against Trump. The case ended in Trump's favor, leaving Stephanopoulos silent on the platform. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. Now, I want to bring this also to your attention. Sarah Reese Jones posted this. I don't even really know who she is. I guess, okay, she's a White House political analyst for Politicus USA Media Requests, and she loves democracy and her dog. Okay, so this is Sarah Reese Jones. Okay, I'm not entirely familiar with her work, but this post that she made really caught my attention. She says ABC's decision will have a chilling effect on what's reported about Trump and his administration over the next 4 years. It would be foolish to pretend that this lawsuit settlement won't have consequences for informing the American people. Yeah, a chilling effect, she says, this lawsuit. Well, here's my response to Sarah Reese Jones. If there is ever a bad take, it's this post right here. The only effect that this lawsuit will have is forcing lunatics and liars like Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, and all the other media whores who've been deceiving the American people to stop and actually think before they open their filthy pie holes on camera ever again. Yes. So this lawsuit is huge. This is a big frickin' deal. Because how long have we been deconstructing and pushing back on all of the lies? You've seen all the clips I've played of Joy Reid over and over again. You know I can't stand her. I mean, how many more legal notes does The View have to present? Because they run their mouths. Well, now it's game over. Western Lensman posted this 5 hours ago. A glum Jake Tapper is upset about the Trump $15 million settlement in lawsuit against ABC and his suing other media outlets. He calls it wildly ridiculous. Today, Trump mentioned the Des Moines Register, 60 Minutes, Bob Woodward, and Russiagate reporters. Legacy media is finally starting to be held accountable, and that makes Jake Tapper nervous. Tapper is also involved in a lawsuit brought against CNN by a Navy veteran whom Tapper smeared with false claims about the veteran's work extracting people from Afghanistan. Yeah, Jake Tapper is at the center of a $1 billion lawsuit against CNN. And he should probably think twice before making remarks like this.
We should note, Kristen, I don't want to overstate Trump's friendliness and genial attitude at this press conference, because this weekend ABC News agreed to pay $16 million, including legal fees, to settle a defamation lawsuit brought by Trump against the network and their anchor, George Stephanopoulos. And that obviously will not be the end of this campaign against the media, legal campaign against the media. We heard him go after many other news outlets today. Take a listen.
So I'm going to be bringing one against The people in Iowa, their newspaper, we're filing one on 60 Minutes. We're involved in one which has been going on for a while and very successfully against Bob Woodward. We have one very interestingly on Pulitzer because reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post got Pulitzer Prizes for their wonderful, accurate, and highly professional reporting on the Russia hoax.
We don't have time to go into all of that, but just to touch base on a couple. There's one of them is the people of Iowa, the Des Moines Register. That's because there was a poll that was inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
The one on 60 Minutes is because they didn't like the editing that had been done to the Kamala Harris.
From Kamala Harris.
Oh, come on. The editing? Yeah, they completely changed her answers. So I think that's a pretty legit lawsuit, Jake.
I mean, this is wildly ridiculous.
Well, one of the things to keep in mind here is that Donald Trump feels like he won. I mean, this weekend, by having a settlement with ABC, one that many people did not think was going to come to fruition. They thought that this would end up in court, or that it would certainly not be a settlement in which ABC paid $16 million and issued a public apology, which was part of this, has been a situation which has empowered and emboldened Donald Trump.
We should note, Chris.
Good. Let them have it. Let them all have it. Maybe for once, they will think before they speak. Now, RFK Jr. is on Capitol Hill meeting with senators ahead of his confirmation hearing. Senator Mitch McConnell apparently has issued a stern warning to RFK and Trump's nominees not to be critical of vaccines. Really? Huh. Don't be critical. I wonder if those lobbyists are padding his pockets.
Health and Human Services. Natasha, Trump's pick for HHS Secretary RFK Jr. is headed to Capitol Hill this week for his first round of meetings with senators. All of this in effort to get the votes he needs to get confirmed in the Senate. RFK Jr. facing a big test this week on Capitol Hill, reportedly holding a series of one-on-one meetings with senators ahead of his expected confirmation hearings. But the Health and Human Services Secretary nominee expected to face a lot of questions from both sides of the aisle over his stated skepticism about vaccines. This also follows a report that a lawyer advising RFK about the HHS role, Aaron Siri, filed a petition in 2022 to revoke government approval for the polio vaccine, widely credited with eradicating the crippling disease in much of the world. Siri later stating he was talking about one specific polio vaccine that's been in use since the 1990s. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who survived polio as a child, had a stern warning to all of Trump's nominees following the revocation report, saying, quote, efforts to undermine public confidence in proven cures are not just uninformed, they're dangerous. Anyone seeking the Senate's consent to serve in the upcoming administration would do well to steer clear of even the appearance of association with such efforts. Despite the backlash to the report and Democrats' repeated criticism over RFK's vaccine stance, some lawmakers are open to discussing any common ground that they may share with Kennedy.
I look forward to sitting down and talking with him. Obviously, vaccines, whether it's polio or COVID, have saved millions and millions of lives, and I strongly support vaccines. On the other hand, what I will tell you, and we had a hearing on this recently, is the food industry, through their processed foods, are helping to cause obesity in this country.
Trump, for his part, tells Time magazine that Kennedy doesn't disagree with all vaccines. But the president-elect adds a, quote, big discussion is coming on vaccines given to children, even floating the disproven claim that vaccines cause autism, saying, quote, the autism rate is at a level that nobody ever believed possible. If you look at things that are happening, there's something causing it. We're going to be able to do very serious testing, and we'll see the numbers.
Now, he never said it, but he said, we're going to ask questions. We're going to investigate, which should be well within our right. And here's Donald Trump. He makes it very clear. He's not going to be taking away anyone's vaccines.
Come out of this.
First, on vaccines, do you want RFK Jr. to revoke any vaccines?
No, I want him to come back with a report as to what he thinks. We're going to find out a lot. We're doing two things. We're going to have tremendous cost savings will come out of this. That's a minimum. And we're also going to have, and I think, very serious discussions about certain things, whether it's pesticides. Europe doesn't use pesticides, and yet they have a better mortality rate than we do. They don't use pesticides. In fact, they use it as an excuse not to take our farm product. We spend billions and billions of dollars on pesticides. And something bad's happening. Again, you take a look at autism today versus 20, 25 years ago, it's like not even believable. So we're going to have reports. No, nothing's going to happen very quickly. I think you're going to find that Bobby he's a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing, you're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen. I saw what happened with the polio. I have friends that were very much affected by that. I have friends from many years ago, and they have, obviously, they're still in not such good shape because of it. And many people died. And the moment they took that vaccine, it ended. Dr. Jonas Salk did a great job. So I don't anticipate.
First. So, the media wants to drum up a lot of fear about RFK. And C-SPAN published this. This was from that same speech.
People who are worried. Can I follow up on Robert Kennedy? He's on the Hill today. He's meeting with senators. What do you say to people who are worried that his views on vaccines will translate into policies that will make their kids less safe?
No, I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there. He's going to be very much less radical. But there are problems. I mean, we don't do as well as a lot of other nations, and those nations use nothing. And we're going to find out what those problems are. And another thing that came up, the dinner was fascinating because I had Bobby and I had, again, the head of Pfizer. You know who that is. He's a highly respected man who has run an incredible company. Likewise with Lilly, the top two people. And we had the head of the industry also. So all companies were represented. And I said, let's have it out now a little bit. And you know what came out of that meeting is that we're paying far too much because we're paying much more than other countries. And we have laws that make it impossible to reduce. And we have a thing called the middleman. You know the middleman, right? The horrible middleman that makes more money, frankly, than the drug companies, and they don't do anything except they're a middleman. We're going to knock out the middleman. I'm going to be very unpopular after that statement.
Mr. President,
I don't know who these middlemen are, but they are rich as hell. And we're going to knock out the middlemen. We're going to get drug costs down at levels that nobody has ever seen before. And that really, I tell you, we spent more time talking about that with Bobby and with the executives and Oz, all of them. We spent more time talking about that than anything else.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Thanks, Sir President Trump. What about the polio vaccine?
Well, I'm a big believer in it, and I think everything should be looked at, but I'm a big believer in the polio vaccine, the Salk vaccine.
Do you think schools...
So, RFK, making big waves, Donald Trump reacting. We're going to get to some of that footage from Capitol Hill in a minute, but this was posted 13 hours ago. Jon Stewart and Bernie Sanders. Jon Stewart talking about getting dogpiled by the left for agreeing with RFK Jr.
Change, but because what I find is there is a gag reflex from, and I think both parties have it, a gag reflex on Robert Kennedy says ultra processed foods are killing Americans, and I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
God awful. That's got to change. But if you were to say that, boy, are you just dogpiled. How can you agree with Robert Kennedy Jr. on anything? He's this and that. And Elon Musk says we've got waste and inefficiency in the government. And we're like, yeah, we've been yelling about that for years. And as soon as you do that, how can you? How dare you? It's really interesting.
John, that is exactly what the challenge is. I'm holding it here
because
isn't that wild to hear that coming from Jon Stewart and Bernie Sanders? Oh, yeah. RFK Jr., he was hounded by the propaganda media questioning his views. He's never once said he's anti-polio or anti-vaccine. He just wants studies and safety.
Oh, I see four.
How do you feel about the vaccines?
Their vaccines, Mr. Kennedy.
You're all for it?
What about the childhood vaccine?
Sorry. Are you all for the polio vaccine?
We'll get you in front.
Mr. Kennedy, what is your view on abortion?
Oh, I see four.
Mr. Kennedy, you still believe that childhood autism...
Mr. Kennedy, are you pro-choice? Mr. Kennedy, what's your views on American farming? What would you like to change? Mr. Kennedy, what's your priority for the first couple of days?
Do you think autism is linked to vaccines?
Oh, man. They are just chasing him around. Here's this is good. This is from End Tribalism in Politics. They posted this. Senator Rick Scott, RFK Jr. As this after RFK Jr.'s first meeting on Capitol Hill, they declares it went great.
The HH Secretary, a great meeting with Robert Kennedy. I really appreciate his message. As you know, I used to be in the hospital business. I think it's great to have an HH Secretary that is going to focus on the health of America, which is the most important thing we ought to do. I think for all of us, what we're thinking about is how do we stay healthy every day. And finally, we're going to have an HH Secretary that wakes up every day and says, how do we keep everybody healthy in this country? He's going to have a lot of opportunity to do that. I'm completely supportive of what he wants to accomplish, and I wish him the best of luck.
So that's a good first meeting. Here's RFK saying the meetings went well.
Senators, how are they? Hi, Mr. Kennedy, can you tell us anything about your meetings today with senators? How are they going? Have they been productive?
Very productive.
Very productive?
Very productive meetings on Capitol Hill with RFK. So this is going to be a confirmation hearing to watch. Let's throw it back to RFK Jr. talking about trusting the experts.
Not a feature of this phrase, trust the experts. It's not a thing. It certainly is not a feature of democracy. It's not a feature of science. In science, you don't trust the experts. Never. No, I've had over 500 cases. And in each one of them, there was scientific controversy, and there was experts on both sides. When I sued Monsanto, Monsanto came in with experts from Stanford, Harvard, and Yale. My wife, who's an actor, came to court that day, on the last day of their testimony. She watched these people, and then afterwards, and they're so convincing. She walked out and she said, "Why are you even troubling this poor company?" To me. And I would wait till tomorrow. The next day, we had our experts from Harvard, Stanford, and Yale, and the jury gave us $2.2 billion. They had heard both of them, and they had to decide which expert is lying. And experts have their own prejudice, they have their own biases, and their own ambitions, et cetera. And so it's not, trusting the experts is not a feature of science. It's not a feature of democracy. It's a feature of religion and totalitarianism. But it's not something we do.
Yeah. Give them hell, man. Give them hell. Here's RFK Jr. This was published 10 hours ago by Chemists. RFK Jr. threatens to prosecute medical journals for fraud under racketeering laws.
They are presenting themselves to medical professionals as an arbiter of truth and as a neutral referee and a reliable referee of the truth. And they know that those medical professionals are relying on journal articles to treat patients, and that if they tell a lie, if they're committing fraud, that they can injure and kill people. So, I believe they can be prosecuted, and not only can they be prosecuted for those injuries, but they can be prosecuted on the racketeering statutes or promoting fraud. So I'm going to do that as soon as I get in there.
Oh, buckle up. Buckle up. Justice is coming. Yeah, George Stephanopoulos. Bye-bye. And Here's billionaire Mark Andreessen says he's an unpaid volunteer for DOGE. They will not be just performing a top-to-bottom review of government spending. They're going to be doing the same thing for regulations.
Intern for okay, well, speaking of sort of the next administration and the government, some have reported that you are considering in the running, I don't know what the right word is, to join DOGE.
Oh.
Is this true at all?
I am an unpaid volunteer.
You're an unpaid intern for the new Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes.
What do you think it's going to do?
There's basically two big parts to it. One is they're going to do a top to bottom review of government spending, and they're going to go cut as much cost as they possibly can, and they have a whole theory and strategy on that. And then in conjunction with that and related to that, they're going to do the same thing for regulations. So they're going to basically do a top to bottom review of the regulatory, what we call the regulatory state or the administrative state, and the connective tissue there that they don't talk about in public is I think actually quite important. Which is like a lot of the reaction of the DOGE from like institutional Washington is like, well, that's impossible. You can't do that. There are all these laws and statutes and regulations. There's this thing. You know the term impoundment?
Yes.
Yeah. So
like
impoundment for those
impounded.
No, so impoundment normally means as a civilian, it normally means like your car gets impounded.
Yeah.
There's a different use of the word in the context of government spending. Impoundment is the principle in law today that the president has to go to Congress to get money for a program.
Mm-hmm.
The president is not allowed to either overspend or underspend.
What?
So the president is obligated to spend the money whether he thinks it's a good idea or not.
That's insane.
On every government program. Look up impoundment. The president is required by law to spend every dollar allocated by Congress, whether he thinks it's a good idea to or not. And so the president literally, like legally, quote unquote, today can't actually save money. He can't say, I'm just not going to spend on this. He has to spend the money. So this is like how crazy and like weird the thing has. By the way, the Constitution, there's a very good argument that's been litigated for a long time. The Constitution does not actually say this. The Constitution says the president needs to go get money from Congress. It doesn't say that he has to spend the money. So like this is the kind of constitutional question. Like we've been living under a regime in which there's a lot of these things that have been taken for granted that are probably not constitutional. So like that's one of the things that I'm sure is going to get looked at.
Just because you're brilliant in one area doesn't mean you're brilliant in another. You know, like
Who knew? Oh, yeah. You can have the money, but you don't got to spend it all. And this is a day ago. Senator-elect Adam Schiff says Americans didn't vote for Trump to see him pardon criminals involved in January 6th. Yeah, and Americans didn't vote for Biden to see him pardon his son either, right? Elon Musk coming out saying, Schiff is a criminal. He quote tweeted this very tweet right here. Here is the moment. Again, we'll throw back to when RFK Jr. stormed the swamp today.
Keep moving.
Yeah, I got you.
Mr. Kennedy, where's your view on abortion?
Now, that's just another angle from the other shot that we saw. But, you know, things are happening, friends, and it's beautiful to witness. We have to ask questions. We have to have investigations. And we have to make sure that the health and well-being of all Americans is a top priority. You know, thankfully, Senator Scott, you know, he sees that. And, you know, that meeting went well. More meetings are going to happen. I mean, seeing Bernie Sanders and Jon Stewart, like, talking about, you know, supporting RFK Jr., those types of people, they're very influential, and their message is going to permeate down to the base, and then it's going to trickle back up to the senators and representatives. So this is all good news, friends. And the pieces are falling into place. RFK Jr. is promising to prosecute medical journals under RICO laws while the DOGE task force prepares to demolish the regulatory state. But here's the question as a globalist trembling. What happens when Trump's dream team starts unsealing the documents that expose decades of pharmaceutical and regulatory corruption? What happens next? You can show your support for the Great Awakening with our new Mag Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Patriots know about the coming storm, so make sure you get it. Yeah, that's Elon Musk on that picture. Elon and Ron Paul. So make sure you get it. They're not just clothes, they are battle flags for the final takedown of the deep state machine. Okay, folks. Wow. Amazing. Amazing stuff happening. Let's check in with the chat room, see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Show all chat messages. They're not reporters, they're NPCs. America can breathe again, says Lou. Lots of good news, says Patricia. He is very serious, says Alice. And interesting tidbits, sick of stupid reporters. Rudy Giuliani for AG, says Ides of March. Well, I think that's already been selected. Pam Bondi is going to be there. It's so quiet. I love that the journals didn't bleed on this clip. When he fell off the bike, his feet were on the ground. What time is it in Gary's world? Well, right now it is 1:30 in the morning for me. And speaking of morning, let's take a look at what's happening right now in the news feed. And then we're going to, what is this? Brian, show this. What is this? Bring this on screen. What is this? This is in Chicago. Another Chicago Fire Department truck breaking down on the highway. The mayor isn't the only one blowing smoke in Chicago. Wow. That's embarrassing. Jack Posobiec, 14 hours ago. Why would we trust Meta when they haven't hired a single Trump supporter? How many conservatives are in the C-suite at Meta? Okay, Vish Burra. Good thing the leader of the rebels. What's happening in Syria? Oh my. This man has some artistic talent. Marv from Home Alone lives on a farm and is a sculptor. Who knew that, right? He's sculpting. What is that? Whoa. That's crazy. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Okay, this is another discredited journalist getting exposed. Here's this liberal saying that Trump will be arrested on December 20th under Executive Order 13848 for allegedly conspiring with foreign actors to rig the election. Yeah, keep dreaming, buddy. A California felon 3 minutes ago, New York Post, granted compassionate release after 26 years in jail, is sent back to prison for the same crime. What a moron. You won't believe what's happened since this posted. Had drinks with RFH last night. Attractive woman, good conversation, strong poster. Who's that? Is that the guy who James O'Keefe just got? I don't know. Let's see. Someone bring me up to speed. What is this? Oh, maybe this was, I don't know who that was. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Truth Stream Media posting this. You can always tell when a man's mustache is performative and not representative of his true spirit. That's funny. Okay, what else is going on here? American Icon, Person of the Year. Isn't that beautiful? President Trump is back. Pajama bureaucrats are on notice. Trump's efficiency squad strikes back. Trump is ready to end the work-from-home party that's crippling government efficiency. The target, a sneaky last-minute deal by Biden's team, letting federal workers dodge the office until 2029. Did I just see a super chat? You know the rules. Did I see one? I thought I saw one. Maybe I was wrong. Okay. Somebody killed in Moscow. 8-year-old recounts seeing a teacher. Oh no. I don't even want to see that. Okay. All right. What's Jesse Waters talking about? Biden has become a sick joke. We know that. Simona. Simona, what's she doing 5 days ago on the set of All the President's Men, filming the episode dedicated to my husband, George, the Advisor, airing on the Tucker Carlson network. Yes, I heard about that. How cool. Here is Simona. Wow, look at that dress. My goodness. Simona. Whoa. And there's George. Yeah, wow. Simona, good God. Look at that dress. Man. Simona, what's up? George Papa, very insightful guy. What he's been through was an affront to our republic. Like real Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, he was persecuted for being smarter than the puppets. Catches recent insights on Syria. I found them to be eye-opening. Beautiful. Yeah. Simona, we are going to go ahead and we're going to give you a repost for that. Now, how about we do a quote tweet? Go, Simona. That dress, though. And then maybe we could do like the smiley face emoji or something. Can we do the smiley face? Here, we'll do that. We'll do the eyes. How about that? We do the eyes. Repost. Repost. All right. There we go. You want to see the post? Can I show you the post? And where is it? Oh. It's going to show up at some point, I guess. Refresh. There it is. Go, Simona. That dress, though. What's up? I love those guys. We had them here a little while ago. Good to see them. Okay, folks. Got work to do. And what we've covered tonight isn't just news. It's history unfolding in real time. So think about what we've learned. Our government's running a massive drone operation hunting for radiation while hiding the truth from the American people. Trump himself has confirmed it, that they know exactly what's happening, but they won't tell us why. Meanwhile, Canada's government is literally dissolving before our eyes. Trudeau's regime is crumbling, his top officials jumping ship, and Trump's strategic pressure has them talking or shaking about becoming the 51st state. The globalist house of cards is falling. And on our southern border, Tom Homan is about to bring the hammer down on sanctuary city mayors. The days of obstruction are over, and when he says we're coming, you better believe he means it. Inside the White House, we now have confirmation from a national security insider about Biden's cognitive collapse. The supposed leader of the free world can't even form sentences, while his handlers scrambled to prepare pardons before Trump's return. But there is hope, patriots. RFK Jr. is storming through Capitol Hill, putting Big Pharma on notice while the DOGE task force prepares to demolish the regulatory state. The deep state's worst nightmare is becoming reality, and none of this coverage would be possible without your support. If you value real journalism, if you believe in our mission to expose the truth, we need your help now more than ever. Visit Give, Send, Go or support us through PayPal. It's linked below. Every dollar helps us continue bringing you the stories they don't want you to hear. And to everyone who sent in our super chats tonight and Rumble rants, thank you. Your voices were heard by millions. And what do we have here today? We have, oh wow, $109 in chat revenue and 10 new members. Holy cow. How awesome is that? Thank you, guys. And if you haven't already, grab your exclusive Mag Avengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. What are you waiting for? Go check them out. Our limited designs are going fast. Remember to tell a friend about the Next News Network, share our broadcast, follow us on Rumble and X, and join our channel membership program for exclusive perks and behind-the-scenes content. Patriots, we are 35 days away from Trump's return to the White House, actually 34 now. And of course, the deep state's in panic mode. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay with the Next News Network. The truth cannot be silenced. This is Gary Franchi for the Raw Feed, and we'll see you next time.